Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Bought a Mic, a podcast about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
A face, a fleet,
A man?
it's a war,
Uh,
a trick to break the walls of Troy. I think that was right. I
that was from memory?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, Moo seems to agree.
Okay, cool.
Moo should bark in like the beat of the cane thumping.
The Travis Scott thumping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. My name's Ernest.
My name is Hunter.
I'm Drew.
And today we're talking about a little movie called The Odyssey, directed by, there he is. See?
No.
My brother.
He's thumping.
Bro's
Do you
lucky
think
he didn't
Moo's
get
here
thrown
to be
over
a
the
suitor?
fucking mountain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, John Leguizamo is like, nope, this is the sick one. We can't have, we're Greek.
You know, I don't think I caught, whenever I was first watching it, I thought that he was just kind of like tossing them to the side. I don't think I clocked that he's just throwing them off of a cliff, which is you know.
Yeah, and then all like
And we all at the
all
end
the
of the day
small
love it.
beans on Reddit were like, that's gore.
I can't freaking watch that.
Yeah. Relax, guys.
Christopher Nolan didn't actually kill
He might have.
a dog.
He might have. He might have just been killing puppies up there. We don't know.
We're talking about a little movie called The Odyssey. Have you heard of it? Before Spider-Man, it was the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah.
And now Spider-Man broke all the records.
We had a good run.
Quick little 3 weeks. But this movie, I mean, it's still
It's
cleaning up.
holding. Yeah.
It's got all the IMAX screens. People are on the street talking about celluloid projection. My mom is asking me about 70 millimeter. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
When you have like boomers asking you about the best way to see this movie, that's how you know it means something. Honestly, that in itself is kind of a credit to Spider-Man, that Spider-Man broke all these records while Odyssey is still holding like a huge chunk of the IMAX screens. That's a credit to that movie.
Before we get into The Odyssey, I do want to talk about Spider-Man. I have seen it. We were chatting a little bit before we recorded if it was worth seeing. Drew, you said you didn't watch No Way Home, the 2021 film.
No, I was really glad where we left off with like Endgame.
And Hunter,
I'm done there.
We did a podcast episode about it, and I think you were the lowest on that movie from me and Harry. We're always the comic book defenders.
You know, it's funny.
At least you were along for the ride.
In hindsight, I remember really enjoying myself in the theater with that movie, and I have no desire to rewatch it because it was like at a point in 2021 where we're still getting our feet back into the movies, and it was nice just to be there with a packed crowd and
pre-Maverick,
see my old friends, see Babylon's Tobey Maguire show up,
right?
And I want to hold that memory in my head.
So that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I say that while fully admitting I had a good time, and I'm not sure if that was a good movie.
But you're interested in Brand New Day.
Yeah, I'm gonna see this movie this weekend.
Okay, so I won't spoil it. I mean, I don't know if anyone cares at this point. Like, the movie's out. The big spoiler that people are trying to hide is out there. It was funny, like at the press screening, they had a notice, even when they sent out the invite, they're like, you can't even say that you're at this screening. Like, usually it's like, okay, you can't say anything about the movie until this date and time. This one's like, you can't even promote that you are attending.
Well, what was stupid about that is it was like the worst kept secret in the world. They're like, Sadie Sink is in this movie, but we won't say who she is.
Right.
We won't say who she is. And it's like, I think we all know who the fuck she is.
Yeah.
She's replacing John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The movie does a good job of like kind
Punish him.
being
Punish her.
a mystery.
They're trying to like punish her,
Yeah,
but that's
she's a dominatrix.
Phoebe Bridgers.
I don't know.
It does a good job of being sort of like a mystery movie because it holds out on kind of revealing that for almost an hour, and it kind of it makes you lean in and be like, what's going on? You know, who's this sort of villain orchestrating everything behind the scenes? So I wonder if there's anyone out there that like genuinely will be shocked and surprised when there is this reveal. But I guess we'll talk about it more in spoilers once you get a chance to see it, Hunter. But I just wanted to say that I loved this movie so much. I think for what it is, a big, loud, expensive superhero punch fest, it is excellent. Like, it is the highest caliber of what this kind of thing can be in the year 2026. in a time when like these types of things are just really on a tough run. We're going to talk about The Odyssey, Nolan just showing everyone how it's done, and Marvel like not being able to even come close to matching that. This seems like a nice alternative to The Odyssey, where like, okay, people can still be interested in this world of comic books and superheroes if it's done right. I mean, I think famously Tom Holland came back from working on The Odyssey and said, hey guys, what if this one's good?
What if we made a real movie?
Do you think that might be possible?
How do you think that this compares then to all of the other Holland Spider movies? Is this your favorite?
For my money, this is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Yeah, and
I think what it has going for it is that like Destin Daniel Cretton is at least like a real director.
Yeah.
Sorry to John Watts.
John Watts, I think, did a great job with the first one, with Homecoming.
I like Homecoming.
Like that was a good use of his talents. Far From Home, I think, has some really good moments in it. I love the buddying relationship, the seed of love that's planted in the Zendaya.
They're fun movies.
It's great. Like they're in
reasonably fun.
They're in Europe. They're falling in love. They're holding hands. They're smooching.
I do like Jake Gyllenhaal in the second one.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a very good movie, but I do love Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie.
Homecoming has Michael Keaton giving one of the best performances in any of these movies. Like it has that high school energy. This movie, Brand New Day, is the promise of what this character should always be. It is a Spider-Man who is sad, who is isolated, who is broken, who is alone, who is struggling, who has a real turmoil and a real conflict within him. And the way it pairs with the Sadie Sink character and what she's going through, I thought the way they do it, on paper, it like shouldn't make sense, and yet it works. It works what they tried here. It connects. And yeah, it's not a perfect movie. Like there's absolutely lots of holes that you can poke in it. I've seen a lot of takedowns of this movie. Most like major critics, like your David Sims, your David Ehrlichs, like they're not really giving this movie a pass.
I wanted to bring up what Sims wrote because it was an interesting review for me, because he has time for a lot of comic book type stuff. And he goes 2 stars. He goes, we can't be wasting whole Spider-Man movies on nonsense like this, guys.
I think it's worth it. I think it's a cool use of this roster of characters. Bernthal's in here, Banner's in here. Obviously, the Sadie Sink thing is a whole thing and kind of seeding the next chapter of Marvel. I think it's cool. When you pick up a comic book, and a lot of times it's a Spider-Man comic book, you kind of expect to see this weird mishmash of things. And as long as it connects with the core emotional story of Peter Parker, it works. I also think that this movie has some of the best action of any of these movies. Again, we're going to talk about The Odyssey. It's a lot of...
We're talking night and day.
It's a lot of CGI mumbo.
Did you see Shang-Chi?
So Shang-Chi has a couple really exceptional action sequences that kind of lets you know why they gave Cretton.
Yeah, that was one of the big takeaways that people had from Shang-Chi was like, he's got some juice. He can direct. Like,
exactly.
Do like, grown man directing.
Some of my favorite moments in this movie is just Spider-Man doing Spider-Man shit, just swinging around, punching. Like they're almost exact choreographed moves that are lifted directly from the PlayStation game.
You said that, and that made my ears perk up, because even whenever I'm critical of some of the movies, that's like one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Nothing feels better than being Spider-Man and just zipping around and punching dudes.
I mean, there is like a broad spectrum of reactions to this one, but generally it's being received a lot more positively than I would have expected, particularly from audiences. Like audiences are loving it.
I think it might be like one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah. And they're also seeing it in like
by the time
stupid numbers.
By the time it's all said and done, it's breaking $2 billion.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be one of the highest grossing movies ever. I have not seen this movie. I think that this is more of just like a nit that I've had with the whole Holland verse. And maybe this can apply to just the last decade or so of Marvel movies in general, but especially with Spider-Man. Why can't Spider-Man just have his own fucking movie? Why does every single Spider-Man movie has to either be like, oh, well, like Tony Stark is also here for this, or he has to be dealing with the death of Tony Stark, or like Doctor Strange is here, and also we have to bring in other Spider-Man movies. Like, why can't?
So then you'll go see the others.
Is it indictment on Tom Holland that they're just like?
No, I think it's more of like them respecting the fact that more people see these than the other ones.
I guess so, but it's just it's frustrating because I think that like I'm not as comic fluent as you, Ernest, so feel free to like tell me if I'm wrong here. But Spider-Man has like, in my mind, the richest. It has the richest treasure trove of like baddies that you can explore and like other lore that you can go down that we don't have to bring in all this other extra Marvel bullshit of like X-Men and whatever else.
Yeah, but sometimes the bullshit, if you deploy it correctly, it's really cool. Like that's the thing with this movie is like they layer on what you say is bullshit, like all this extraneous stuff in a way that serves the character. Like this is at the end of the day a Peter Parker story, and you are following something that is very true to the essence of the character, and it works really well. I had a great time. This is one of those where you walk out of the theater and you're like, man, that was the best movie ever, and then you're kind of coming down from it, and then you're like, okay, there was some things you might kind of improve.
I feel you, because that is exactly how I felt about like Homecoming when it came out. It's like we didn't leave in the theater. You're like, what else could I ever want?
Yeah, I think we all saw and then you kind of get together, and we were like, yeah, this was just great.
It's like when you have like McDonald's and it's really good, and where you're like, what else could I ever?
And
want?
then you get a tummy ache.
Yeah, exactly. Like a half hour later, you're like, okay, I'm gonna shit.
Tummy ache is minimal here.
Okay,
minimal tummy.
I'm excited for this. I'm very optimistic for this movie because I have heard not from like major snobby critics, but from the people. The people are high on this.
Yeah.
Our friend group is very high.
There are some, who are just, I think there's just a general, if you're just fed up with the stuff, then like, it's not like this is enough of a curveball to completely change your mind on it all. But I don't know. The reactions stun me, like the overall positivity.
Yeah.
So
if you do decide to see it, Drew, the main thing you need to know from the end of the last movie is that there's, Doctor Strange puts a spell on everyone to make everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's like the main thing,
including like his homie and Zendaya.
Yeah, that's like the main thing that this movie is sort of continuing on. Okay. And it's fascinating how they managed to be like, okay, we're going to still continue this multi-movie thread, but also like give you a contained story from beginning to end. Like this is a normal movie in ways that a lot of these movies are not. Like the bar is very low. These movies have not been good in the past few years. And so for it to clear it is like not the highest praise, but the way it does it, it reminded me of the Raimi movies. Like it'll never top that. But shout out to Brett, who I took to see this movie. He said this is his favorite Spider-Man movie. He said, and he might be juicing his fantasy league here, but he said this is one of the best superhero comic book movies ever made. Yeah.
Okay, Brett. All right. Now the bar.
I'm not quite.
Bar
there.
is high.
I'm not quite there. Like
better than like Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is a really good.
No,
man.
I mean,
really
not
good
quite
movie.
there.
It is, but
the first Spider-Man's a really
also
good
like
movie.
I don't know. Those are kind of like Star Wars for me though, where like I didn't have a connection with them as a child. I didn't see them. And
you might enjoy them.
Well, no, they're great. Like you see them as an adult, you're like, those are definitely really good, but they're not. People act like they're like fucking Seven Samurai or something, and it's like, relax, guys.
Yeah,
like they're good movies.
I think
that's me.
They established a new vocabulary for this stuff, and they set a lot of groundwork. They also, if you were to just watch it for the first time now, you'd be like, well, that scene was really fucking cornball, and like, not a great way.
Here's the thing: is that I like some of the cornball in that because that's Sam Raimi-isms, and at least I'm like, oh, there's a real human being on the other side of the camera that's actually doing this. That's been my problem with like the John Watts movies and things like that. Is those movies,
the non-anonymity,
even if they're fun, it's just like eating like a large popcorn that you decided to fucking soak with butter. Like they're hollow. There's nothing really there to them. So if there is some more meat on this bone, then I'm excited for that. Just to give me something. I want to feel.
Are you hungry or something? You just made two. You're mixing your food metaphors.
I want this movie to be a fucking turkey leg, homie. I want to just like really just gnaw on this thing.
I'm very pro Brand New Day. Speaking of food, I saw Tony, the Anthony Bourdain film. A Matt Johnson film.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give this one a little shout out here to kind of sandwich it in. Kind of lobster roll it in.
Between
Spider-Man and Odyssey. Tony is not gonna make 100th of the box office receipts as these movies. But I do think it's worth checking out. I mean, if people enjoyed Blackberry and Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie, it's the same director. It's Dominic Sessa playing Anthony Bourdain.
Does it have like much at all in common with those two things? You know what?
Well, it's closer to Blackberry.
Yeah. But just, I mean, Matt's not in it. Like, would you have been able to tell it were a Matt Johnson flick, or is he kind of trying to make a big boy movie? I'm
a little conflicted on this movie because I think I came to it with like kind of warped expectations of trying to find Matt Johnson in it.
You're also coming off the highest possible high with Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie happening earlier this year.
Right, exactly. And this movie, you know, it kind of has that style, but also it is Matt just trying to make a more normal movie. This is the real life story of Anthony Bourdain as a young man in Provincetown, Massachusetts, sort of post high school, like kind of college age, very lost, very, you know, aimless person, working at a restaurant and just trying to woo a girl over a summer. That's kind of the plot of this movie. And I think that not just the Matt Johnson of it, but also the Anthony Bourdain of it. I watched a lot of Anthony Bourdain leading up to this movie, a lot of Cook's Tour. Shout out to the guys on YouTube that are just doing the live streams, continuous live streams of a Cook's Tour.
There's also on Pluto TV, there's a No Reservations channel.
I was going to say.
I've been watching that.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing. Dude, No Reservations and Parts Unknown are fucking all-time shows.
And we were chatting before recording that, like, you watch that show and there is like an asshole quality to Bourdain. Like,
totally. Yeah. He's clearly a little up his own butthole.
Yeah.
Like he clearly is kind of sniffing his own farts. Yeah.
But what stays with you is the deep humanity, the charisma, the insightfulness. Like when you think of Anthony Bourdain, you don't think of the snark. You don't think of the cutting. Like, at least for me, I'm not as well versed as some people. Like, I'm not a completist, but when I think of Anthony Bourdain, I think of like his warmer side, his more kind of human, you know, the side of him that wants to connect and not like chop something down. And I think that this movie, this is telling the story of a part of his life, a version of him that doesn't have that warmth. Like he hasn't found it yet. And the movie famously opens with that quote, I was in desperate need of an ass kicking. I think he uses that in one of his books or something. But that is sort of the thesis of this movie, is like, this is a person who hasn't quite gotten to that point where he's been beaten down enough
to respect other people.
Exactly.
Well,
so you're hanging out with an asshole the whole movie. That's tough.
I don't necessarily associate warmth with Anthony Bourdain, but I associate empathy with him. Like, I think that's kind of the thing. Like,
movie doesn't have that too much.
That it's not like he's
Matt
always
Johnson
like treating everything warm.
Does not experience empathy. Human being.
That's why it's a little bit of an interesting choice of like why he was like so passionate of like, I need to make this Anthony Bourdain biopic movie. Look, I'm here for the full Matt Johnson experience. I just watched The Dirties for the first time this weekend. Fucking awesome movie.
Empathetic flick.
Yeah, really empathetic. Look, just fucking
a real Linklater.
Be kind. Be kind to people and don't be a bully. And
the extended cast is great. You got Emilia Jones, shout out Task fame.
Task.
Leo Woodall, Antonio Banderas, Stavros is here.
Yup.
It's great. I love the extended cast. Dominic Sessa is not giving a bad performance at all. Like, this movie is not bad. It's a very well-made movie. It's just, for me personally, a little bit tough to connect to because the Bourdain character is just a shitty guy.
Well, I think a lot of that probably also just plays into expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know, the cleanest Matt Johnson comp to this, like you said, would be Blackberry. And in Blackberry, you're not expecting to turn that on and to really feel anything for the guys that made Blackberries. Yeah. And so when you don't, you're fine. You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying, because I don't know. Had he done H by this point in his life? Maybe heroin is what sort of chilled him out.
So there is
and we're short of it. You know,
there is a scene with the Leo Woodall character, but you don't, spoilers for Tony, you don't see Bourdain do it. You see the Leo Woodall character do it.
I think,
and so it's the Leo Woodall character, I think, is awesome because I was expecting this movie to be more about the food. Like that's a little bit of my disappointment is like this movie's not really about the food. It's about the people who make the food. And like we all know, especially if you worked in a kitchen, like the Leo Woodall character is that guy who like does way too much.
I've met like 11 or 12 Stavies in the kitchens.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Also, you know, I know that you're not saying anything negative about Sessa. You're not saying anything very positive. And here's the thing. He was a discovery. He is not experienced. He's not seasoned. He came out of nowhere and he was incredible in the holdovers. That doesn't necessarily mean like I wouldn't be shocked if a really, really seasoned great actor like Leo Woodall, who I think his rocket is pointing straight upward, I wouldn't be shocked if he's doing better than Sessa is in a movie like this.
He pops more.
Yeah. Sessa has quite a look to him, and that's why he, why he got this part.
But I'm not sure.
Looks unique.
I'm not sure if it's a script choice or a performance choice, but Anthony Bourdain in this movie is just like kind of quiet and brooding and sad and mopey, and like he just doesn't have that thing that you know him to have in the show, which obviously like he gets later because this is a younger version, but it's like I don't know why make that choice for this movie.
Are you weighing against this movie the masterpiece that is Burnt? Was Burnt weighing on your mind the whole time?
No, it was the Kitchen Confidential TV show that was canceled.
Yeah,
that I have the DVD for.
R.I.P.
That's tough. Should have been Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Coops.
This is interesting. Like this is a very like well-defined kind of like a single critique you have that, you know, it sounds like it's sort of make or break for whether or not you think this movie's a masterpiece or not. But I kind of, in a vacuum, I kind of get it because Bourdain, like you said, he's an ass and he's definitely pompous. Like that comes through on his show. But my biggest takeaway for him and like the reason I was upset when he died is that he was a guy who could go into any room and get along with people.
Yeah.
And so
the whole thing,
you know, it would have been cool. Obviously, Matt Johnson wants to do things in a non-standard way, but it would have been cool to maybe watch him develop that a little. And it sounds like we don't get that.
Well,
maybe a tiny little bit, because a huge chunk of this movie is him trying to woo this girl, the Emilia Jones character, and like he is sort of trying to figure out like how do I sort of create this fabricated version of myself, this dishonest version, to convince this girl that I'm desirable, that she should desire me. That's a huge part of this movie. It's like he's essentially lying to her.
Well, how else are we to woo the opposite
Emilia
sex?
Jones?
Yeah. So it's.
I watched The Terminal recently, and that's one of the main takeaways from that movie.
Krakoja. What? So what do you think? Good?
I know. I didn't.
When are you gonna have a? God, we gotta figure out a platform for you.
We gotta rewind to the Patreon little snippets we were just doing. I have so many things to say about The Terminal.
Jesus.
When we podded with Adam last, we ended the pod so late that night, and he was like, "Drew, I think you'd have a lot to say about The Terminal," and I was like, "I'm gonna watch it tonight, Adam." And then we podded for like 3 more hours.
Yeah, you were up until like 3:30 in the morning watching.
I was sending you guys pictures of The Terminal on my TV. You guys stopped responding at a certain point. Anyway,
all right.
I'm excited to watch Tony.
Yeah,
it's worth watching. It's just not, the best movie ever, but I think I'm very interested to see what people say who are hardcore Anthony Bourdain heads, and I'm not. I've always wanted to be, and I've never quite gotten there. So I will be once it comes out.
Confidential. Yeah. I've read like the first chapter or so, and then I forgot that I had it on Libby and it got auto-returned. But
I want to see Tony 2. Like the next chapter of this story, once he's actually like working in the fucking kitchen. Give me that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a give or take, because the bigger problem with biopics is when they span too long of a time frame and they just give you like a piece of every year of the life.
Yeah.
That sucks. And that's like 80% of biopics.
Yeah.
So when we found out this was going to be about like one summer or whatever,
one crazy summer,
I got so stoked because that's like the number one stumbling block.
Well, also oftentimes if you're trying to showcase a real person, like the best years of your life, you're like, man, I wish I could just like watch the documentary about this guy and just see him in real life. Like,
What I think that there's a very high probability that you guys love this movie because now I have like calibrated your expectations for what this movie is.
Yeah,
and I didn't have that
Ernest,
going into
thank
it.
you.
Brand New Day,
I'm doing
we're
that
gonna
talk.
fucking hate Brand New Day.
Thanks,
Tony,
Brett.
we're gonna love.
Thanks a lot, Brett.
All right, so that's Spider-Man and Tony. Sounds like that's the name of the movie.
Spider-Man and
Spider-Man
Tony. Hey, oh, Mr. Spider-Man, come back here and get your pizza pie.
Let's get into
Is that
the
offensive
Odyssey.
to New York Italian Americans? I can't.
Sure,
I can't
why
now.
not?
Okay.
Is
There's-
the Odyssey offensive to Greeks?
How would John Leguizamo feel about my impersonation of a New York Italian man?
I don't know. Is he Italian? I thought he was Colombian.
He is Colombian, but he has played Italian in 2 different movies that I know of.
Mhm.
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, based on Homer's epic poem.
Mhm.
Are we big Homer heads here?
Homer drops his donut. Yeah, I know about him.
Yeah.
I know a lot about the
We know the guy.
You know
the
Homer-
single one.
You know Homer has an IMDb page.
Mhm.
Homer on letter when you click Homer on Letterbox, it's like a bust. It's like a
Wait, really?
yeah, it's like a marble bust. It's great.
That
That's
rocks.
funny. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
His artist picture. A lot of Homer, as it turns out.
Yeah, no, he's been around. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't
And
don't
if-
understand how much he's been grinding all these years. Like he didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was a PA actually on
Yeah.
like they don't even have his PA credit.
Right.
But he was doing like the Godfathers.
Right. There's a lot of actually like controversial stories
I was
about some things that he did.
He
on
was-
that set.
He was the intimacy coordinator on that James Franco show.
Jesus Christ.
So
You know, looking at Homer's thing on Letterboxd here, I feel like we're missing anything because shouldn't like every
I was
movie
gonna
ever
say,
made just
if
be
we
under
were
here?
if we were being dead ass,
Everything is the Odyssey.
if we're putting Oh Brother on there, then there's plenty others.
Well, Oh Brother directly like credits Homer
Yeah.
as the writer.
yeah, because they're bold enough to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Christopher Nolan has created a sort of like a movie version of the
Mhm.
Odyssey.
What's also funny about this bust of Homer that we have on here is that Homer isn't just a guy. Like Homer is a collective. It's just the poets who told this story is Homer.
I don't know. I'm seeing a guy.
I know you're just seeing a guy. It could have
I think it was a white guy. I don't know.
Oh no, it does
It's
say
a white
it
bust.
does say in this description, Homer is the name ascribed to the ancient Greeks.
By the ancient Greeks,
They
to
all
the
looked
semi-legendary
exactly like
author
this. Yeah.
of the 2 epic poems.
Oh, okay.
So it's a name given
So it is a guy.
to someone who may or may not have written both. of
Okay.
these.
So is he a hack? Is what you're saying?
Is Homer? It's like Shakespeare. There's multiple Shakespeares and there's multiple Homers.
So the Odyssey tells the story of Odysseus, who goes on a sort of odyssey, you could
Mhm.
say.
Can I tell you? I saw a really funny meme on like fucking Twitter or something like that. That was just somebody was like, yes, come with me, gentlemen. We're going on an odyssey. And somebody was like, what was that? And he's like, it's a journey that's named after me because I'm the only person to survive. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It stars Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson,
Just keep going.
Every person. No. You
Don't
got
stop.
more.
Himesh Patel, John
yeah.
Leguizamo, Charlize Theron, Travis Scott.
Let's go.
Love how Travis Scott's like
Yeah.
Corey Hawkins.
Elliot
skip
Page.
it. Yeah, we'll skip
Benny
a couple.
Safdie, Elliot Page, Bill Irwin,
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth.
Yeah. Where's Barenthal in here? Come on.
Barenthal's in here.
Black
Samantha Morton is so low. on
Logan
this
Marshall
list.
Green.
What the fuck, Letterbox? This movie is incredible. I have been thinking about it so much since I saw it in 70 millimeter at the Disney Springs AMC, and I have a ticket to see it in IMAX 70 next week.
Cool brag.
Very excited. I thought about seeing it in between now and then, but I decided I will edge my Odyssey viewings to properly climax during the IMAX. I'm gonna climax
Mhm.
70. I'm IMAXing.
Did they ever play the movie Climax?
Yeah, you were closer
in
before you
IMAX?
even started riffing on it. You had something.
Before you like had a stroke there, 'cause things were going well.
I'm IMAX maxing.
You know, I just saw a video where a guy was like, I wanted to be the first guy to shoot a movie totally on IMAX, but it's like IMAX, like the computer, like
Yeah.
iMac.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, how have we not thought?
Oh,
of
I
that?
just I saw that meme and I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Odyssey.
Huge movie. Huge movie. A lot to like. There's so many ways to get into this thing. Like we could talk about Nolan.
Did you guys read the Odyssey when you were in school?
I don't think so. I honestly like don't really care that much about the Odyssey. Like it's supposed to be this big thing, and I've always just been like very ambivalent about it.
Well,
and so watching this movie, I felt like this was the first time I really got it.
No, 100%. I read the Iliad in school, which obviously.
You know, I had a moment whenever like preparing for the Odyssey and stuff like
where
that.
It's like, have I read this? No.
I read about the Trojan horse itself, and I read about like all of that fun stuff. The actual getting there, not the coming home.
Yeah, and so
but then it's one of those things where it's like, oh, every other movie is based off of this, with just like some of the content. Like anytime that you see something with the Cyclops or the disfiguration of faces, and
the specific beats of the story are, you know, just because they came first, they're not to be treated as though like they're the greatest beats ever created. It's just like like you're saying, everything is based off of them because they came before all the other stories. So they are unbelievably important, but not that is not to imply that they should not be messed with. And I think the great triumph of what Nolan has done here is he has repurposed and recontextualized those beats to make sense and resonate with a modern audience in a way that is not over the top. It's not like effectively destroying the original source material, although, you know, some translators
Emily Wilson
would tell you different. Hey, you know what she's not is a critic.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Or a filmmaker.
Or a screenwriter of any kind. Yeah.
I saw a great reaction to that. Emily Wilson, who did a modern translation of the Odyssey, hated the movie. I saw a great reaction to it, which was just like, it's really amazing that even at that level of like professional success, you cannot stop yourself from critiquing what you want the thing to be instead of what it is.
Yeah.
Which is like that. I mean, I struggle with that all the time. And you know what I mean? But it's like, that's not what a critique is. So sorry, Emily. The movie fucking rules. It's very cool what he has done here. And in addition to the more, the more tone-based stuff, the more story manipulation stuff that he did here, he also just like gave you a fucking feast of a fucking movie. Like it's just big and loud and unbelievable to look at.
Penelope
the whole time,
the feast.
The whole fucking thing. It rules. So,
I'm not. I've been very critical of Nolan at points on this podcast.
Were you the lowest on Oppenheimer?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it was on all our top 10s. But
it was my number 10, I think. It like was kind of barely skirted in there for me. Mostly because, again, I think the highs of that movie are incredible. Third act of that movie does not work for me.
You wanted to get into a fight with us when we did that podcast because you're like, oh, let's do a Nolan ranking. And then when we said all the great Nolan movies, you're like, these movies fucking suck.
Well, you guys didn't acknowledge that The Prestige should be number 1. The Prestige is the best Nolan movie.
That's like the most true like person who doesn't really like Nolan take of
The
all
Prestige
time.
is incredible. Everybody knows it's
good.
It's Prestige, Memento, and then The Odyssey.
That just means you don't like him. You like the movies that are least like him. That means you are not a fan of his.
No, that's not true. There's a lot of Memento in this movie.
I mean, yeah,
we're gonna kind of talk through. There's a lot of every Nolan movie in this movie.
This is the most Nolan.
Here's
movie.
the thing. I've let love into my heart. I've let Nolan into my heart. I like Tenet. Check the letterbox rankings.
Wow.
I think we're at 3.5 stars.
There's been an edit.
So
we're
Prestige,
at 3.5 and a heart now on Tenet. So
Prestige, Memento, Odyssey, Tenet.
That's cool.
Not Tenet. No, Tenet. That would be the most insane list ever. No, I think my number 4 is Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I think that the Odyssey has a ton in common with the Dark Knight.
Yes. We'll talk about like just kind of because I am interested for like just gut check Nolan rankings. Part of me wants to put this at number 1. Because
Yeah.
and the thing is, I don't know
It's
if
such an
this is.
achievement.
I don't know
I
if
think
this
it's
is
his
my
best.
favorite,
It's
but
his best.
It's the best. It's by
Yeah.
far it is the most impressive movie that he has ever made.
It's a triumph.
And I think, Drew, to the point that you were just making about the reinvention of the story, this is my favorite script that he has written, at least since The Dark Knight, if not ever. I think that this movie is a feat of adaptation, and it's just works so beautifully that this is adapting this thousands of year old story, which, you know, mentioned at the top, Homer is not just like one guy. Homer was something that whenever they were retelling this story over years and to different audiences, details of the story changed so that they would be more pertinent and they would mean more to whoever was hearing the tale of Odysseus coming home.
Kind of like Travis Scott.
Kind of like the Bible.
Well, Travis Scott is the modern day poet of our time.
He's
like
the Homer,
he's fucking rappers really are the storytellers of our time in the same way that poets are.
By
and
the way,
I think that is that decision to think like, no, I can still create this story and just use this as a tapestry to make this modern is incredible. Like it's absolutely a true feat of adaptation.
Do you think at the end of the movie when like all the suitors are sort of locked in that room and they're all like killing each other and it's really cramped, do you think Travis Scott was like, it's just like Astrofest?
We're gonna spoil the Odyssey, by the way. This is a spoiler podcast, but to the point that you were just making, like Nolan finds a way to Nolan this movie. And for 2 hours, I was sitting there thinking, this looks incredible. Like visually, production-wise, this is some of the best stuff I've ever seen in any movie. But I'm still wondering, like, why did Christopher Nolan choose to make the Odyssey?
And then the end comes.
Yeah. And then you get the final reveal of sort of Odysseus's turmoil, his inner conflict.
What if the Trojan horse was the atomic bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The choice of like taking the meaning of the Trojan horse, this forever has been this signal of ingenuity and trickery in the sense of genius, and turn it into trickery in the sense of deception,
Like evil
and conniving and destroying civilization. That's why he made this movie.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking sick. He did it, man. He fucking did it.
It's such a cool invention to have here. It also, like, one thing that I've been thinking of a lot, and maybe this is going to take more time. I've seen this movie twice now. And I think that this even, like, I'm fleshing out in real time one of the other things I think he's trying to say here, but it almost feels like it has this religiosity to it, where this is like the original sin of mankind.
Right.
Was this Trojan horse. We lived in a time of peace and prosperity, and then you took you were in the Garden of Eden, and then you took the fruit. You took what was this supposed to be this one pure thing that we have, which is a gift to the gods, and you sullied it.
Mm-hmm. You took our one manner, our one custom, our one hospitality thing, and you've wrecked it. You're the fucking sea people.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
That's the other genius layer, the sea people, which apparently is a real thing
Mm-hmm.
that has existed in history of like why this age of like Greece and the Bronze Age fell. And Nolan's like, I'm just going to throw that in here.
Yeah. And he just sort of reweaves the threads. Yeah, he kills. He doesn't overdo it with the scripting, although it does have a few moments of like classic Nolan, like writing a little too much, thinking we're dummies. Guess what? This movie's for everybody in a way that like it's for the dummies too. Much like all of his movies are. I feel like that's kind of overlooked when people talk about his overwriting. Like, yeah, he wants everyone to be able to watch it.
He wants to write to the back of the room.
Yeah, he wants everyone to get it. I think that's admirable in a way, even if it's not always executed perfectly. And in this case, yeah, he lets the movie breathe when it needs to. We get these like big, wide, quiet exteriors. They take up a huge chunk of the movie where we're just sort of like basking in a visual. That's pretty new for him. And much has been made about like the production process and how bespoke and how real and how tactile everything is. And it's all for good reason. Like all of that is true. We're not going to be the first people to tell you this, but like it paid off in the fucking edit. Like you look at it and you're like, yeah, they did all that.
I was talking about House of the Dragon earlier and how the first episode of season 3 is very boat heavy. And there's one moment towards the end of the episode where you see these guys like pull up a sail. And I just immediately thought of The Odyssey because the way Nolan does it, like obviously he got a real boat, right? But the way he shoots a bunch of guys putting up a sail, I've never seen that before. I've never seen a group of guys put up a sail with the effort, the weight that you see in this movie.
Could sail. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little moment that lets you know like this is human effort. And in the age of AI, when you could just that House of the Dragon episode, like I mean, I'm sure a lot of very talented VFX artists worked on that, but like you could just generate that with a prompt. And I hate that we live in that world, but Nolan says no. No fucking way.
Wait, are we reviewing Nolan? Oh, I thought we were reviewing Grok's Grok's
Odyssey. Yeah.
Elon's masterpiece. It's incredible. There's so many moments like that where he takes this path that I think, you know, from a production standpoint, like, you know, obviously he produces this with his wife. I think that he was probably always thinking, will I ever get a chance to do the Odyssey the way I want to do it? You know, you wonder about directors' sort of passion projects, and you wonder if like he's always had this idea and he probably thought like, I need to be able to do it how I want to do it. I want to shoot in 7 countries. I want to have thousands of extras. And to see him get to the point where he can actually put this thing together and have it work is so impressive.
And again, you know, in the same way that we talk about sort of Tom Cruise being like one of the last saviors of like real movies, like this is going to have a really outsized impact on like not more movies of this scale being made in this way, because first of all, I don't think that there are many directors on earth who could or even want to make something this big in this way. Like this is like just kind of a one of a kind guy.
This would kill most guys.
Yeah. But
and it's kind of killing Nolan. Nolan's like, I need to take a break before my next movie. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. He'll spend one day at home playing like Fortnite with his child, and he'll be like, this is awful.
I got to get back out there.
So, but there are going to be more movies, smaller scale, that are greenlit to do things practically because of this movie's success, period. Right. Like it's already happening. There are already stories dropping on like your IndieWire or whatever about like studios are listening to what's going on here.
They're hearing lessons.
They're hearing the unanimous positive audience response to looking at real shit on a big screen. And they're like, huh, real shit. They're like jotting it down.
Well, I think also to that point, we kind of like touched on it about like the ways to see this movie, but it's really cool. Like it's something that Nolan has been at the forefront of IMAX and putting IMAX in his movies since at least The Dark Knight. Of him just like I want to really like use this, and IMAX is now
for just one sequence.
Right. And if you go back and you watch something like The Dark Knight, some of the action sequences are kind of jarring because of how much cutting, because frankly, in 2008, IMAX cameras could only do like shooting like a very, very small segment at a time. They had to completely remake the IMAX cameras. There's a ton of incredible behind the scenes stuff of basically just like, we need to figure out how to put more film into this IMAX camera so that we can push this to 3 hours. Because before, I think the limit was like 45 minutes essentially of what you could capture on IMAX film reel. But putting all of that like kind of to the side of the actual making itself, the fact that you have just like people on the streets that go to like a couple movies of the year just being like, yeah, man, I really need to like wait so that I can see this movie in IMAX. I need to see this movie on a big screen is really cool. And I also don't think that that's necessarily like, you don't have to do that. If you only have one small like family owned movie theater in town and you see the Odyssey, you're still going to have an amazing time.
Yeah.
But brother, does this movie fucking reward you? See it on the biggest screen possible. We saw it in 70 millimeter at the Enzian for opening night, and that was incredible to see it on film. But the last time I saw it was at the big IMAX at Regal Point in Orlando.
Biggest screen in town.
a giant IMAX screen, and my jaw was just on the floor for like multiple sequences because that aspect ratio ain't cutting. Like the whole time, it's like I've never seen this much of a movie before.
Yeah,
and it's breathtaking.
I do agree though that just like see it on whatever screen you can, but do see it in a theater. One thing, it's almost like I don't want to call it like a hack, but one thing that Nolan does that most filmmakers just simply don't is he makes his movies deafeningly loud. Like deafeningly loud to the point that you're borderline uncomfortable sometimes when you should be in a movie like The Odyssey. When shit is hitting the fan, your fight or flight is going off because you're like, I got to get out of this fucking room right now. There was a stat.
These guys are too tall.
There was a statistic that The Odyssey, when the Cyclops screams, is the second loudest moment in any movie ever, decibels wise. The first loudest moment is in The Dark Knight.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, why isn't everyone else just jacking up the mix? It creates a more visceral experience in the movie theater. It feels like you're being enveloped by this product. And there is sound coming from all angles that is worth listening to in this movie because I think this is like bar none Ludwig Göransson's best work. I think it's like not even close.
Yeah.
And he did Sinners, which is fucking incredible.
And Tenet.
But Sinners to me is an assignment that it's not that like, you know, it's not unique what he did, but like that is an assignment that comes with pre-built sort of genre music to go with it. This is just an assignment of like craft the music craft the biggest sounding shit you could ever come up with. Like, you know what I mean? It's way more vague what the actual assignment is in this.
Yeah.
And
it's much more just like you're so much more limited to the actual instrumentation that you can use because they're trying to make it sound of the time. So it's like, well, we can only use like some chorals, a lot of like reeds and flute bass and then percussion.
It was Blake.
We can only use James Blake.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, his only stipulation was he asked him not to use an orchestra, which pays off again because it makes things a little more breathable and unique. And like it has the great thing that, you know, so many great scores have, and particularly Nolan, like when Hans Zimmer was at his peak working with Nolan, there would be entire sequences of, you know, a movie like Inception where you don't know if what you're hearing is score or sound design.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you don't know.
Interstellar.
Where you're like, is this diegetic noise? You know what I mean? Or is it music? I don't know. It's just a wall, but it sounds right.
In Interstellar, it works because a lot of those space sequences, like you wouldn't hear anything because in space, there's no sound. But no, I what you guys are getting at is just like the sensory overload of it is so daunting. And the only thing recently that I can think of that gets to this level is the Dune movies. Those movies rely so heavily on visual effects. And it's some of the best visual effects I've ever seen.
Yeah, they have to.
This one, it is that human aspect, that handmade, handcrafted aspect. This movie does have a ton of visual effects as well, but you can tell that they try at every moment to not give you a shot full of visual effects. Like they're going to make the actors climb 40 minutes up to that castle so that you don't have to have a VFX castle.
Dude, literally to the point of like, we're going to have 300 extras in this shot. That we should also mention, we were talking about the editing earlier. This movie's edited by Jennifer Lane. This is the third project in a row that she's worked with Nolan on. And I think that there's something like no shot holds for like more than 4.5 seconds or something like that. So like, that keeps the frenetic pace in what is an otherwise 3-hour movie, but it doesn't ever feel choppy in that. What makes it impressive, again, to the practicality is that we're going to hold on this shot of like 300 dudes lugging the Trojan horse for 4 seconds, but that was still like a day's worth of shooting to just get everybody in position and then get a 4-second shot. Like, and you can just feel that level of craft all the way through it. When they go venture to Hades to see all their dead homies to get guidance on how they're going to go home, that's just like a bunch of guys that are there. That isn't just CGI nonsense that
buried in the sand.
Even Dune, when it is at its best, and Dune is like, I think the best possible version of VFX that we can get in the 2020s. When we get to something like I almost want to call them the Baratheons. What are the Harkonnens? The Harkonnen home. Whenever they have the crowd shot in the black and white scene, which is an amazing scene in Dune 2, you can tell that's just like CGI crowds. It's just the same guy has just been like copy and pasted 200,000 times.
Yeah, well, and that it's because that place isn't real,
right?
It has to be.
It has to be in that sense, but you can feel that these are all different shapes and sizes dudes that I'm looking in the background. If I was to pause the screen and look at everything,
you'd be like, this is that extra is putting a little sauce on it over there.
Nolan, he's able to cash a lot of checks with this movie. And the number of people on screen at a time, the number of props, the sets, the locations, these are all checks being cashed from all the movies that have come up to this point, especially Oppenheimer, the Oscar.
No, I think this is the Tenet check. I think it's cashing it still.
And it's such an insane heat check of a movie. Like, regardless of the quality of it, quality aside, like what he's able to just compile before he even shoots a single frame is so daunting.
That's what I was gonna say. Is a lot of the time to a set piece, like a Nolan set piece compared to the CG'd version, the price difference isn't as much as you would think to do it real. The difference is planning.
Yeah.
Like, it takes just an insane type of mind to be able to wrap your head around the entire picture,
the logistics
before it exists to assemble the whole thing, as opposed to getting just enough in place that you can shoot it and then figure it all out later. That's just easier.
Yeah. Hey, you keep Avengers Doomsday out of your fucking mouth.
Well, I mean,
that was all shot practically.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what Tom Holland is talking about when he just keeps on saying, like, what the hell? Like,
what are we doing, guys?
But it's
got to make a real movie here.
It's not just Marvel, though. It's just like that's
the norm for all movies.
And definitionally, that's what directing is having the ability to set everything in place before it exists tangibly, the ability to see it beforehand and make it happen.
Right.
But that's fucking hard. And he is one of the only people left that is willing to cut no corners and able to cut no corners. And I think, I don't know, it's easy to sort of scoff at his, all of the things you learned about his personal life. He doesn't have a cell phone, etc. Like, he doesn't do emails or whatever.
Does all the work.
That makes a lot of sense to me in terms of his process. Like, it makes a lot of sense that he is he's so unplugged that, like, he's like, what even would the other option be than to just do it?
Yeah. We all have to cram into this horse together with the camera. Hoyt's like, all right, guys, I'm coming in.
So do you want to talk performances?
Well, I wanted to ask you, Hunter, like, you've seen the movie twice. I'm very curious how the sort of non-linear style plays on a second watch, because, like, we're kind of thrown into the thick of it with the suitors, right? Like, the movie opens with Travis Scott, dun, 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 a man, dun, 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 a war.
Yeah.
And he's not that gruff. It's not as gruff.
A man. He's a little bit of a higher pitched voice.
And I think it takes a while to get your bearings and realize, like, okay, Nolan's doing his non-linear thing. And yet, like, even if you are assuming he's going to do that, because he always does that, I think for me personally, it's not until Cyclops that the movie really sort of kicks in. Like, how did you feel that on the first watch, second watch? Like, is there a difference?
I mean, I definitely know. I get what you're talking about. The first time that you're watching it, you are fully, like, dropped into this world, which Nolan always loves to do. Like, the hallmark of Nolan movies at this point is you're dropped in media res. See Dunkirk, where we're just on the beach. Like, it's just the way that he likes to open a movie, and then we can backtrack or move forward. So I was prepared for that. I think more than anything for me, you just kind of have to be a little bit of a sponge for the first 20 minutes, because it's a lot of names are getting thrown out at you,
and they're like all silly.
Menelaus and Telemachus and, like, all of these people, and you're like, I just got to kind of put my faces together here and just keep the order of what is happening. I don't think that you actually see Matt Damon on the screen for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah. But you're cutting to
you
situations.
You see young Matt Damon. That's not true. You see young him of like, you see him like showing that he plucks the bow whenever he's doing the
he's
hunting.
like, this shit's easy to me.
Yeah. We're getting the stories.
He's on the chalkboard.
How do you like them apples?
He's doing the Ripley thing where he's like, he's
do they have apples in Ithaca?
Yeah, he's on the canoe. He's like, I'm gay. Yeah, all that.
So I think that is
How's
one
the
thing.
peep in Odysseus?
How's the
God, I wish Philip Seymour was in this fucking movie.
Man.
He'd be so good in this movie. He'd probably have the Leguizamo part. Leguizamo deserves that part.
Yeah.
Well, that, or could we put him in the and I love him, but could we put him as Corey Hawkins' character as just like the suitor, the number 2 to Bobby Patty?
He's Pattinson.
He'd be better as Pattinson.
He's like the number 1 suitor. Like he's about to bag her.
He's so close. No, but I think that, and you mentioned this on First Watch, and we can kind of use this as a transition to talk about the characters themselves. You mentioned how you did not care for Tom Holland in this movie.
It's, I think, by far the weakest link of the entire thing.
And here's the thing, is that the Telemachus part is like, by nature, it's not as fun as whenever you are with Odysseus. But I think especially on rewatch, kind of knowing the plot beats and knowing what is happening in the overall story of things, I really like what Tom Holland is doing as Telemachus. Again, it's not the highlight of the movie by any means, but
it's a thankless role.
It's a very thankless role, because I think
it's like a classic like Nolan. It's what Nolan would typically make a woman do in his movies.
Honestly, yes. Like he's there to kind of be the exposition machine in somewhat, and like, but he is the one who's gathering the stories of Odysseus's journey. Like he's the one who he goes and meets Menelaus, John Barenthal's character, and like we get the initial like the fall of Troy, all of that sequence because of him. I also think that Tom Holland, it's a very wise casting to put him in that role. And I think that this is a very, very geniusly cast movie. Like this movie is, I would lock it in right now. This is winning best cast at the Oscars this year, because for Telemachus in particular, it is perfectly playing on like everything that the audiences are bringing in with their preconception of Tom Holland, where it's like, we know that he is a man, but he just he's like an eternal boy to me. It doesn't matter that he's in his 20s or in his 30s in real life. I think he's supposed to be like in his mid 20s now. You look at Tom Holland, it's like, that guy's not fit to be a fucking king. There's no way that he's going to be a king. Yeah. Like if he looked like Robert Pattinson when he was 25, then all these suitors would have fucked off by now. But they just know like he's not actually ready. He does not have the sauce yet.
This is a role in a lot of Nolan movies also, is like the character whose job it is to not be as good as the main guy. Like to, you know what I mean? To not be as worthy, to not be as naturally him.
Yeah.
As the guy who's him. The only movie that really bucks that is Tenet, because Pattinson is in that role and he's so him that you're like, well, there's just two hims here. I don't know what to tell you.
He might be more him than John David Washington.
I totally agree with you though, Hunter. I think that it's easy to dunk on Holland for this role because it is just not the most fruitful part of the movie. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Like when you're spending time with him, you're wanting to get back to Odysseus.
And I think, it also doesn't help that like the flip side of the coin, the lead of this movie, it's Matt Damon, and maybe his best role ever. Yeah. Like, I don't know if this is the best role, but this is my favorite leading man role that he's ever had. Because oftentimes I think that Matt Damon is best as like a number 2 or number 3. Like, I don't know if he's winning you a championship as your number 1 player. I don't know if he's winning you, if he's your number 1.
I don't know. Is he a Bado Ginobili?
But I really like him. Like, I love Ripley Matt Damon. I love kind of shit heel Matt Damon.
I don't think this goes over Ripley.
No, well, I don't think that this is better like in that way, but I'm talking about as leading man. I like this. I think his performance in this, it's better than like something like The Martian. It's better than like it is in, I think, the Bourne movies.
You haven't seen the Rip, buddy. It's showing.
The Martian is such a cool
it's not as good as We Bought a Zoo.
Oh,
it's not as good of a leading performance as that.
Also, another thing, like, you might not love the movie, but like he's electric in Good Will Hunting. Like he's on fire in a way
might
that
be the best Damon.
I think I don't think it's close. He's like fucking
He's unreal.
stupidly good in that movie.
But he's not charismatic leading man. You guys know what I mean? Where I'm talking about like he is playing like traditional movie alpha.
The problem with Matt Damon is that he was, when he was really young, he was 1B to Leo. Like that was the only guy more charismatic than him, and they looked very similar back then. And yeah, exactly.
Fucking great.
But then the way he looked just didn't quite pan.
Yeah.
He it's not that he's bad looking. He's still a great looking guy. He just doesn't look like a movie star necessarily. I think that's used really well here. Like I think he's aged into using that right. In The Rip, for example, I know that's not a good movie, but it came out this year and it utilizes that where you're like, God, Matt Damon, Jesus Christ. By the way, I bet you he has the beard in that movie because he couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah,
he confirmed it actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that the top shelf for me is Good Will Hunting, Ripley, Martian, Odyssey, The Departed. Like that is like almost every side you want.
Hunter, you're right though that modern Damon is like this is a guy who you need to be doubting a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't cast someone who is just oozing with like, well, I'll follow that guy anyway.
You can't cast Ryan Gosling.
Because you're actively watching a guy lose his crew. Like you're watching a guy whose crew is slowly like,
I don't know about this guy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And that's another, I mean, there is an amount of that, but Himesh Patel, plays sort of his 1B in this, his
secret MVP for me.
And this is also sort of a Nolan invention to make this character
Eurylocus
more competent than Odysseus is. Like he's more of just like a general like shithead defector in the Odyssey, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, because in the traditional telling of the Odyssey, like Odysseus, it's almost like it's a tragedy by the gods that he is coming to this. And yeah, he does have like a brash arrogance to him, but he is known as like this genius, and like he would never intentionally like lead his men astray by his own errors.
Yeah. And so it makes sense to utilize then Matt Damon in this way, where you're like, man,
he has the charisma, but also like there's something about it. It's perfectly playing into our preconceptions of Matt Damon of like, I love this guy, but also like there's some kind of like mass hole to him that like I just can't quite fucking
like I'm trying to think of someone, because Gosling I think was
a bad example, because I actually think Gosling could do this movie.
Yeah,
like,
because he's not
like 20. Well, the thing is,
he would just be like a soft Odysseus, but he would have that doubtability in his softness. I'm thinking of someone who you just couldn't doubt, like almost like Idris Elba. Where like watching him, you're like, that guy's right. Like, I'm sorry. Like Matt Damon has the thing of like, I don't know.
But I don't think that this movie, the telling of this version of the story is meant to have Odysseus be this unstoppable force.
No,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you put a Gosling or an Idris, you start to tiptoe in that direction.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
The magic of Damon crushes this role. The magic of it is that he, as he starts to falter and lose his crew, you feel bad for him, and you're not thinking like, how dare he? How could he? You start to think like, man, he made some mistakes and he's a flawed guy, and you start to sort of sympathize with him a little bit.
Well,
so by the time the turn comes of the revelation of like the guilt that he's been carrying, it hits like a fucking brick, and it doesn't feel like this betrayal of a version of the character that we haven't seen throughout the movie. It feels completely in line.
We also are given an amount of dramatic irony where we know a lot of that, what he knows, or at least what he's been told, is true. Like, you know what I mean? Where like we understand why the crew would be doubting him when he prophesizes all this shit that's about to happen, but like we do happen to know that he's right.
Yeah.
And so that leaves us reasonably on board with him, even though like if we understand that like if we were a member of that crew, we'd be like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like where are we right now?
It's such an interesting, and I think it's more of a nuanced performance than even like some of the skeptics are giving it credit for, because Damon also like he brings a sensitivity to this character. Like whenever you're thinking about like the end, I want to talk more about the siren song because I actually think like the sirens, even though they play like a small part and as far as the actual time that we are there, is kind of like the skeleton key for the entire movie is that siren sequence. But between that moment and between the return home, like you can see that he's broken. Like he is truly a broken man as he's just sitting there on that island for a decade with Calypso. And he has to eventually learn, like, I do want to go home. I need to kind of get past the demons that are in my past. And that's something that you have to bring that on you. That can't all just be explicitly on the page. And I think that that's something that Matt Damon is just really, he's excellent at doing.
Yeah, he looks like he's been through some shit, like emotionally and physically. Meanwhile, back home, Anne Hathaway's his wife. Yeah. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It turns out that she's always fucking awesome and like people are weird about her and they always have been, but she's an amazing actress.
She's stupid. So good. She's so good in this movie that I think it's part of the reason why Holland like doesn't really work that well for me.
Well, yeah, because
like, he can't match.
No, he can't like, yeah, he'll never, I mean, he's not as good of an actor as her, but also B, like his performance has to be like, you know, almost stoic-ish, but like also like kind of dumb in a way, like just a guy. And then like Penelope is like more allowed to express her feelings almost.
Well, I think in the Odyssey, if I like remember correctly, like one of the ways he's just like, I'll become king. I'll just marry you, mom, because things were weird in ancient Greece.
Nolan, what the hell?
Yeah, where was that?
Yeah.
Surprising lack of sex in this movie.
Which, hey, not for the Nolan head. We knew for a fact there'd be no fucking at all.
No fucking in this.
He is the most asexual man who ever lived. I don't know how he had children.
He does not.
But it wasn't by fucking.
I mean, he tried it with Florence Pugh and Oppenheimer, and people were really weird about it. And he was like, "All right, fine."
You know why? Because he was weird about it.
No, because she gets up. He's like, you know what people do in the middle of sex? They get up and they read.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
They read like Mein Kampf or something.
No, it's the whole I become dead.
Yeah.
No, it was Mein Kampf.
I think it was Mein Kampf. Here's the thing about Anne Hathaway. I think that she is so good. She is giving such a good performance that she single-handedly skirts the wife characterization that could otherwise be attributed to her, and that I think plagues every single Nolan movie before this. Because she really, if you think about it, she has one scene where she shows real agency. Like she has one fucking scene where she's like, I've been here for 20 years.
I've been ruling.
Nobody asked me if I like what I fucking think that I should be doing this. They're waiting for a man just because you have bristles on your chin.
Right.
Like that's the only time that she gets a moment to pop off, but she still carries the entire movie because she's just that talented.
She's a phenomenal actress.
I've always loved Anne Hathaway. I think that like any kind of like hate on Anne Hathaway is bullshit. It's
a lot of it's based on the James Franco Oscar situation.
Ooh, yeah, that was tough.
That's not. I don't blame her for that.
I know.
Hey, she's great in Devil
Also,
Wears
you know,
Prada,
Homer was the intimacy coordinator for those Oscars.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no one wants to talk about that.
I think we got to talk about our guy though, like who I think he's a minus
the
3,
Cyclops.
He's a minus 300 favorite to be our winner of the year. It's Robert Pattinson.
You guys see the primetime
as
trailer?
Antinous.
I watched the whole thing,
bro. That's like one of the best trailers in years.
Man,
I'm obsessed with To Catch a Predator when I was a child. Me and my sister used to watch it every week.
It looks phenomenal.
I really think he's just going to go 5 for 5 this year.
Yeah.
Like he is going to do a fucking clean sweep between
I think
the drama, this Primetime, Dune 3, and I'm missing one.
He gets all 5 Best Actor nominations.
Yeah, he
at the
does it all.
Oscars.
He just wins them all. He's incredible. I think that he is just confirmed at this point. He's my favorite working actor alive. I think.
Are you thinking of Here Comes the Flood?
Yes, Here Comes
Is
the
that
Flood.
coming out?
Yes, Here Comes the Flood. Yeah, he's in that, and that's also this year.
He's very funny in this movie.
I think that like,
which again is much needed.
So we brought up Philip Seymour Hoffman earlier, and I think that the reason why Robert Pattinson has now become my favorite actor working right now is because he is so unafraid to just be a fucking smarmy, dastardly bastard in all of these movies. Like he knows that he is like one of the hottest dudes alive and could be Batman, but also he's like, in my meantime, I'm going to either be like a sniveling twerp in something like The Drama, or I'm going to just be like the heavy in all of these movies and something like this. I'm going to just kick a fucking dog because that's the only way that the audience won't cheer for me still.
The somebody get these beggars out of here. That's become like a great meme.
Yeah.
But in the movie, in the context of the movie, like choices like that are so fucking good because on the surface, this is a very simple character. Like he's just lounging around this castle and like maybe scheming on the side a little bit. You could totally phone this in and it would not really have that much of an impact on the story. The dude gets fucking killed in the end and like you clap because he's been an antagonist, but you don't have to like put the juice that he puts in here. And he does it in a very subtle way because what stood out to me is that a moment like that, there's several moments, but it's almost like Antinous is maybe not the most fucked up, like dark person in this room. Like there's worse guys in this room, but he probably feels like he has to pretend and like showcase that he is worse than them to position himself as a more adequate suitor.
Well, no,
but he doesn't want to push it too much.
He's very clearly soft.
Yeah, that's why I used the term dastardly for him because like he's clearly a coward. Like at the end, he ain't grabbing one of those spears or swords to try and make a move. Like he's just like cowering in a corner as he's watching God just fucking pop off.
But Corey Hawkins ends up being like the more sort of evil toned one because Pattinson like. Antinous, like he needs to find these moments to sort of contrast, and be like, okay, I'm not as evil as these other guys, right? Like I need to position and posture as like I have this bigger cock, but not so much. I still need to like look to be softer and kinder and follow Zeus's law.
His performance is a great double feature with Dylan O'Brien's and Send Help to me, where it's like this like faux masculinity.
Yeah, pretender.
Like, it's like Nepo baby, which he literally is. The whole reason he's fucking alive and in the town is because of nepotism.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But he plays it like a finance guy. Like you know what I mean?
Well,
it's such like a modern asshole type vibe.
He's playing it in like a way that's really cool where whenever he's around the bros, he's like fucking, he's dick swinging like you're saying, but he's just like, Penelope, come here.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one. You know that's always been me. Come on.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Pitch.
Yeah.
It's a good pitch.
It's a good pitch.
And you're
and he's fucking Mia Goth on the side.
Yeah.
It's
I love that Mia Goth is here with like one line.
Yeah, she's
I would imagine she was cut out of the movie based on even the very small amount we saw of her felt like bad.
Yeah.
It felt like bad performance to me.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't have any relationship with her pre-existing. It felt like she was
she's very talented.
I know. It just felt like in this particular case, she was giving absolutely jack shit.
I mean,
I think she got cut out.
She's like the 27th lead of this.
I know, but
so
I think she got cut out.
I think that there's a lot.
I would
of
bet
people
money on it
here that are just like, I just want to be in a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, give me the one line part. I don't give a fuck. That's part of the flex.
The Cyclops is another one of these.
Yeah, you think the Cyclops got cut?
So
he just wasn't getting.
He took less money.
Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin plays the Cyclops.
Should we just kind of go through like the
stops
chronologically? Like,
let's go through the stops. Each of the stops.
Let's go through the stops. So Cyclops is the first one.
Bill Irwin is apparently like a legendary puppeteer.
Yeah.
And he, real heads will know him from Legion. On FX.
Yeah, we will.
He's in there, but yeah, I was wondering about this scene. Brett and I were kind of trying to break it apart afterwards on the drive home, and like obviously there's a lot of CGI happening in this sequence, but it almost looks like it's just a guy in a suit sort of superimposed into there's a lot of photography on this actual island in this actual cave. Apparently the cave is like this real historic Zeus's cave that you can't get to easily. They have to like helicopter you in or something. There's no road
That's so cool.
to access it. And then there's the beach when the Cyclops actually like runs out down the hill. A lot of VFX are happening here. They built a real puppet in the cave. I don't know if there's any shots in the final film of the puppet.
There are. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of it is I've watched a little bit of some BTS stuff with this, and a lot of the stuff is with the puppet, and there are obviously VFX, as well as like a little bit of almost mocap stuff that is what Bill Irwin is doing. There also
Bill Irwin is not a puppeteer. He's a clown.
Yeah, he's a vaudevillian performer.
Sorry,
I think he does
vaudevillian heads.
Yeah, but this is a puppet. The Cyclops is. I think that also in this sequence in particular with the puppet, because they had multiple puppets. They had like the big ass one, and then I think for this, and then for one other sequence later on in the movie, they do a lot of forced perspective in this. In the same way, like Nolan has credited the Lord of the Rings movies as something that kind of influenced the way, especially for action sequences, but even just for like some kind of dialogue
Little
sequences
tricks.
and saying stuff out of, yeah, just doing forced perspective, digging a fucking trench and having everybody stand in that trench to just make certain characters look bigger.
Yeah,
smaller.
there's an amount of that, and then I think there's also more than anything, I think it's just a good amount of like keyframing in a shot of a guy, giant, and making him giant.
Yeah.
Like I think it's
because it is a guy like
Yeah, I think
the Cyclops looks like Bill Irwin.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of puppet, but I think it's mostly keyframing in just shots of a regular man and just like literally just pulling the crop, the corner thing.
Yeah. Where was
the
his cock?
Yeah.
Well, how come there's no giant swinging Cyclops?
just a
cock?
pasty Cyclops abyss.
Nolan is a fucking coward with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're just
If you're to
framing
critique
it
one
just-
thing about him, he
It's
just
Let me see the cock.
It's an
can't handle
R-rated
it.
movie.
I know.
Give me Cyclops.
What is the
dog.
what is the sound design of him pissing?
Yeah.
It would sound awesome.
It's like a flash flood.
It's just the saxophones from the Siren song.
When this sequence happened, I was like, we've arrived. Like at that point, it was like, I've locked in. Like I'm ready for Chris, for Big CN to take me with him wherever he wants to go. This is also like the first time that we're seeing some of the naturalistic lighting that is deployed in this movie. I guess you see it at the very beginning in the dining sequence. I just watched Barry Lyndon for the first time this past weekend.
Let's go.
Which, speaking of naturalistic lighting, that movie is like the original one to do
so many
some of this.
candles.
But there's so much of that in this movie that is like, you're just going, this is the only thing that we have is this campfire here or these candles in this room. Like that is the lighting that we are using. And we're just going to fucking get the widest lens that we can possibly get with an IMAX camera to capture that. But meanwhile, it's like, it's so articulate that it retroactively made me angry at like every other movie I've ever seen. Even like something like, to give it credit, we gave it credit earlier, now to kind of ding it a little bit. In Dune Part 1, the action sequence, the nighttime like kind of siege that we get is kind of jumbled CGI like gobbledygook. Between the Cyclops and, not to skip ahead, but the siege of Troy.
The scene of the movie.
That is like, that's the best nighttime action filmmaking I've ever seen in my life. Like that is like, oh, this is, you actually can shoot something at night and it's not just to save money because it's cheaper to generate through VFX. You can make something look good and look articulate and make it well choreographed.
Absolutely. Yeah, like he does it.
And same things from a horror perspective work in the Cyclops scene where it's the monster coming out of the shadows.
The whole Cyclops scene was just perfect. He, obviously
Would you guys eat his cheese?
Yes, first of all.
It's probably good.
Second of all, how he milking them sheeps. Big ass fingers.
He's definitely just squanching them.
There's
some blood in that cheese.
He ain't milking them damn sheeps.
I felt bad for him, man.
No,
He was
exactly.
bad.
You feel bad even though he comes in and immediately does Saturn devouring his son.
Yeah.
Like he just
with one of the soldiers.
Yeah, he just immediately does that, but you still feel horrible for the Cyclops. He's not doing anything wrong.
He's just chilling.
He's just like a dumb guy.
Yeah. I love the design of the actual face, the eye, how it looks like it's a human face that's just been twisted.
Yeah. It looks unbelievable. It looks so fucking cool. the choice, all the sound choices with him as well are really well done. Like I said before, first of all, just deafeningly loud, which makes sense. And it really, it instills like a really visceral sense of fear into you that wouldn't be there otherwise. But like when he's being sad, like, I don't know, the amplification of it, and
the cries,
the
wails.
It sounds like a whale.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a whale crying.
So the Cyclops is the son of Poseidon, correct? Do you think that Poseidon used the same excuse my dad did when he left? Do you think he said, like, I'm gonna go get some sheep's milk, I'll be right back?
Oh, that's why he's hanging out in the cave.
That's why he's in the cave. He got abandoned by his father.
He's like, I gotta hang out here.
Again, to the point.
If you had that son, you'd leave.
Yeah. Well, I did have a thought, like, again, to how the story has been told like many different ways, and it's kind of common assumption that like the details may have just been like blown out for what Odysseus's travel home. Are we sure that like they didn't just encounter like somebody with like a disability, like Odysseus on his way home, and they were like, ew, who's this disfigured freak? And then it grew to like him being a Cyclops. And
I mean, he was probably large.
They literally just ran into
yeah,
like
just
a big
guy,
a big neurodivergent guy.
Yeah. They ran into.
He was just like, you guys heard of trains?
It was like, I'm neurospicy. It was Boo Radley. It's the original Boo Radley. So yeah, the only other thing I wanted to say about the sequence is like it sets up this dynamic of like, hey, let's get off our boat and go check this out. Oh shit.
What
we
the
shouldn't
hell?
have done this. We gotta go.
What the crap?
And then a bunch of them die.
But alas,
and that happens like over and over.
But
and
hey,
over.
they
and it's
hung-
always exciting.
They're starving.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like nonsense that they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like,
yeah,
they
they
have to eat.
They're dying.
Well, this one's also important because like they would have been fine. Like, yeah, a couple of their homies died, but they could just escaped and then just been fine. But fucking Odysseus has to just like, as they're going out,
annoying.
just has to fucking shoot an arrow at him. And that is that's what curses him. Poseidon then puts the curse on that they will never return home.
Well, even
Which we don't
before
explicitly
then-
see in the movie.
Even before then, like when they first leave Troy, and Odysseus is like, "No, we don't have to follow Agamemnon down the shortcut home.
We're gonna take the southerly ones.
Yeah,
No,
let's
well,
go this
yeah,
way." And
we
everyone's
got it.
like, okay. So even then, it's like, okay, this dude might not have the best interests of our crew.
We haven't mentioned, like you said, we don't see Poseidon. We don't see any of the gods in this. What we do see is Zendaya, who is ostensibly Athena, but what she really is like a manifestation of the guilt that he feels for doing Troy.
Chris Nolan, dude.
When that reveal comes, I was
cooking.
like, tears were streaming down my
That
feet. I was like, this is cinema, right?
Yeah,
we did it.
That's
Genius.
fucking that's a genuine stroke of genius. Like that to repurpose to repurpose story elements in that way that is so fucking fresh, and yet it makes so much that amazing stuff. Like that is it's not too heavy-handed, like it's done with just the right amount of touch, just the right amount of finesse. I felt like proud of my boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, wow.
Well, because
you felt proud of the biggest director in the world.
Well, you hear about Nolan making the Odyssey, and it's like, okay, how's his take on like Greek mythology going to be?
And well, you're
how's
like,
he gonna do?
You're like, oh, I bet
surprising lack of Greek Americans in this cast.
I was genuinely like, I bet his take is going to be they all talk too much.
Yeah,
because that's what a lot of his movies are, and especially if he's basing it off of written, source material.
Right.
I was like, I feel like he might overdo it with the scripting.
Right.
He didn't,
and it's not only genius, but like, yeah, you do feel the sense of pride and wonder, and like the realization of like, oh, you're going into this thing thinking like, how's he going to tackle the idea of deities and gods? And then you watch the movie and it's like, well, he kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
He kind of circumvents that thing entirely. I mean, we'll get to the Samantha Morton scene because she is kind of like this demigod, and so is the Cyclops, and there's the
Calypso
whirlpool,
is
and
a nymph.
there are these elements, but he never goes full god, and I was expecting him to. I was expecting this movie to give us Nolan's version of Greek gods, and it turns out that Nolan's version of Greek gods is just a world populated by people believing in gods and having that faith challenged and having that faith crumble. And that's the Nolan version.
It also, it's interesting because we end up in a middle ground where like the gods are up for interpretation, even though the monsters are real. You know, they are physical and tangible in this interpretation. There's even a line that I thought was really interesting where Odysseus is talking to his crew who are like thinking about defecting, and he's like, he says something like, "Oh, the gods that you believe in." It's almost as though in this, throughout this, Odysseus is like, he's like Mulder in the X-Files, where like this stuff clearly keeps happening to him, and yet he's not all the way in on it being real.
Yeah.
You know, he's almost like agnostic in a way.
Yeah. He's Matthew Rhys in Widow's Bay.
Yeah, like it's super interesting
It's
because
fine. We're not haunted.
Yeah.
honestly,
Don't worry about it.
Like
I did see like a clown that chased me through a basement in a haunted inn, but it's fine. I wouldn't worry about
it's whatever.
I mean, it is that point that we brought at the beginning about like updating it to the modern era, right? It's
We
like,
live in godless times right now.
well, but people still believe,
Yeah.
right? And that belief is constantly being challenged, right? It's like in our world right now today, we don't have tangible interactions with gods as they do in Greek mythology. And so Nolan chooses to tell this story in a way that feels modern, right? In our reality, we don't have those interactions. What we do have is extreme guilt and trauma, right? This is an Odysseus like burdened by that.
But also, in order to provide the spectacle, like an amount of the supernatural is real. Like, you know, we have the monsters and we also have a fucking witch
Yeah.
that we come to meet.
So should we get to Cersei?
So yeah, I'm trying to.
That is like the next big piece of
Let's
the
just
movie.
let's
Is
just talk
Cersei the
about
next
her.
one? Okay.
Let's
yeah.
so they get to her.
Oh wait, no. So they see the giants, and then they.
That's the Run P moment of the movie. Do we need that?
Say
the
that.
giants are. Well,
Say
here's
that.
the thing. I
Like,
think
yes,
on
Iron
rewatch-
is here to take over Bronze. You can go to the bathroom. It's a 3-hour movie. We get it.
just go to the bathroom anytime the fucking Menelaus is talking and
Yeah.
Telemachus.
Yeah.
That's the point.
The
Yeah.
real
No, that's true.
there was like a post about this, and I thought about tagging Run P. I should have.
Yeah.
Our sponsor.
Yeah.
We got to get back on board with the Run P plugs, by the
Right.
way.
Yeah.
But
It's the least interesting of the actually no I disagree that is the least interesting of the spots that you see, because at least that stuff is practical. My Run P monster moment is the whirlpool / monster coming from
But
the
that goes straight to
cliffs.
Sirens.
I think
Can't-
that's
No. The sirens are before that.
I think that's sick. It looks cool.
That's the part that I was like, this is the most CGI that I'm seeing in the entire.
It definitely is, but I don't know.
It's exciting.
It's still exciting. The real answer I saw online, which I think is true, is if you get up right when they get to the witch's island, all you're missing is them just like running into a lion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can take a quick piss.
That's if you got like a 90-seconder.
I sure do.
You gotta be quick.
Yeah.
But these guys are called the
Chock-full-icy.
Lastragonians.
Yeah.
And it is cool. Like they got a bunch of big guys and the moving trees.
Yeah. They got a bunch of
cool.
like former NBA centers to come
Yeah.
in, like some Serbian
It's
fuckers
cool.
to come in.
It doesn't. It's fine. It doesn't.
By the way,
It's
have
cool.
any.
Look, I still think it looks sick. It's really cool.
Hey.
I like whenever they walk up and they're just like, "Oh, who's this man that's crying right there?" It's
It's
just
a
like
child.
a big old giant baby.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Jonathan Isaac,
upsetting.
TikTok buddy. This is your next fucking job.
Hey, honestly. No, he needs to gain like 100 pounds of muscle. And fortunately, I think he is still signed to the Magic.
Isn't there an NFL guy in this movie?
It wouldn't be NFL. Not as a giant, at least. It would be NBA.
Yeah, it's
There
NFL guys can't be.
There aren't
that
7-footers in the NFL. I would believe you if you told me like John Bernthal was a linebacker for like the Rams in the early 2000s.
Well, I did think so. Okay, so maybe this is a good point to talk about this before we talk about Cersei, because I think that this happens right after Cersei, is we get the first telling of Troy, of the fall of Troy, and again to
With
the
Bernthal.
with Bernthal.
Yeah.
And this is again like
And
good
Holland's like,
good
"Please
use
Tell me about my daddy.
good use of like Bernthal of like bringing in the John Barenthal of what we know of him in real life,
Let me tell
where
you something.
on his podcast he likes to like talk to Iraq war veterans about like their time in the war. This is a real thing that John Barenthal does.
I would be disappointed if he didn't do
Yeah,
that.
it's the most John Barenthal thing
I'll
you've ever
never
heard,
listen
right?
to that in my fucking life. But absolutely.
Well, because he just like likes to like give people their time to talk about like their traumas in war and their time doing that. So
God, he should have played
Bringing-
American Sniper.
he really, dude, where the fuck was he in 2013? Like this is when we needed him most, he vanished. No, but the first siege of Troy that we get, we talked about before about kind of the filmmaking behind it. It is like pulse pounding. This is when Ludwig's score is like really fucking ramping up. This entire sequence is so cool. And down to them like actually in the fucking horse themselves that feels so congested, getting stabbed through the horse,
Yeah.
and then just having to like wipe the blood off really quick before it gets pulled out like on their
Insane.
spear
Insane.
is so cool.
Where's the piss? Where's the shit?
It's all collecting at the bottom.
They talked about how people drowned because of the piss and shit
I
that was
wanna
building up. But
smell it.
We should see this movie in 40X.
Yeah.
Actually,
Gotta smell like it got the whole movie's got to smell.
I wanna smell
Those
this.
suitors be stinking too.
Oh yeah, they'd
Yeah.
be stinking it up.
That whole dining room looked like shit. It was musty in there.
You learn to hate Argus because you can just smell him, the dog, the whole time. You're like, I also want that fucking dog out of here.
You hate the beggars,
Yeah.
because they stink. God,
So-
get
You
that
just
out
get
of
like a foot in your face. You're like, ew, it's stinky.
So our crew arrives at this island. They climb up the hill. They see these big cats, and they get to Cersei, and she invites them in, and they're so hungry. And what unfolds here is like some of the most disturbing shit that Nolan has ever done. Like
like
some
easy.
true horror filmmaking.
the way that the stew that they're eating sort of feels like it's both coming in and out of their mouth at the same time as this constant stream of sludge.
It's sickening.
like what is that?
It's actually fucking
It
sickening.
looks like their intestines are coming out.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
a small intestine.
it's like evil pho.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you have the tripe in pho, and you're like,
Yes.
I don't like this part.
And like the performances of all these guys, it's so well done because they're like, I can't physically stop doing this.
It is so scary.
I'm distressed.
It's really upsetting.
It's really upsetting. So on seeing this twice, the first time I was like I was locked in and just like couldn't believe what I was seeing, but like watching like through while clenching my face. Second time seeing it because I knew it was coming, I kind of like glanced around and like 30% of the people around me were like almost shielding their eyes, like they couldn't watch what was actively on the screen.
And then she starts turning them just by
Yeah.
like touching them and kind of shaping them with one hand into pigs.
Well,
and
there's-
you're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my
There's
whole life.
one scene where she reaches like inside of a guy's face and just starts moving the bones around. And it's, I mean, another like thing that's been credited a lot is An American Werewolf in London, which was kind of like the original movie to work with some of the practical effects, especially facial like transformation sequences taking place. And that is like all over this, but it looks better because we have 2026 technology to do this. And I think that part of the reason why it worked so well for me too is I didn't think that Nolan was capable of this. I thought Nolan could do the spectacle. Like I had no doubts that he could do the big, but something like this, I'm like, Nolan, give me that horror movie that you've been talking about that you want to make now. Cause I now buy it. I now think I believe it.
I really think that if he were allowed to do whatever he wanted with the movie Insomnia, it would be so good.
Oh, do you think that's his next project? Remake Insomnia?
Insomnia.
Who's the new Pacino?
Just get Pacino again.
Hey,
Yeah, why not?
Hey.
I love this scene.
Tulsa King.
I think it's so effective.
I'm sorry.
Distressing, like everything that it
It's-
sets
again,
out to do
it's-
is so good.
it's-
If I had to pick a nit,
oh boy.
there's a lot of shots in this movie. I don't know why. I think it might be because of these IMAX cameras, like the way the sensors work, the lenses. This whole movie shot with IMAX cameras. The first movie ever to be entirely shot with these cameras. There's a lot of frames where I'm just like, you can't go a little wider. you're really crammed in here.
I
and
feel
it
like
works,
it works in this.
It works, but like it works, but you have this amazing effect that's happening. You're describing these practical effects with these men turning into pigs. There's a part of me that feels like you can't really see it that well. Like,
I feel like that's kind of because as much of it is practical as possible, and I feel like if you could see it better,
it wouldn't work.
You'd
Right.
see,
It's
yeah,
the
you
Jaws effect.
You see the strings.
Yeah, it's a little like hazy almost the way that it's shot. Like the smoke is like kind of filling the room in a way while it's like she's like casting a spell. Like she is a witch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this scene. I love the scene. I think it's amazing. I just think there's a couple shots where I'm like, I kind of wanted to go a little wider. I kind of wanted to see this space a little bit more. I
That's
feel a little
fair.
cramped
That's
there.
fair.
That's fair. I just wonder if like truly they had to shoot it like that, or else you just like see a puppet or some shit. You know what I mean? Samantha Morton's getting all the love she deserves.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't
she'll
said
get
her
it.
name
She'll
yet.
probably get the nom.
I think that she should. I'm here for it. The Oscar
Yeah,
campaign.
it's a rare, true like one scene Oscar nom that's well deserved.
Yeah.
She's like stunningly good. That there's like this. Yeah, everyone's talked about this story now at this point that we're like, this is the second time that there's been like an applause break on the set of a Nolan film, and the first was for the Joker. This is the second time that's happened, and it's true. Like she is like transformative. Like you're watching her like, my God. Did you guys know that they recorded a good amount of the movie Her with her as the voice of her?
Oh, and she was replaced by ScarJo.
Yeah,
That's really
what the
tough.
hell kind of movie would that have been? With Samantha
Tough
Morton.
look for Spike.
I mean, that's crazy because the only movies of like that are coming to the top of my mind for Samantha Morton are now this and Minority Report.
Yeah.
So it's like I want her character in Minority Report on my phone.
She does a great freak out. Like her sort of heightened screaming energy is really good, and she's very scary.
She's terrifying.
Like Damon going toe to toe with her, you feel like, man, this guy may not escape this situation. His men have been transformed into pigs. He is about to be sucked into the spell, just like they all did. What's going to happen? And he finds a way through it. The trickster of Odysseus.
And that also is that gives him more clout with his boys.
Yeah,
for a while.
Well, because they were fucked.
Yeah,
they were,
and they were out on him. They were like, we don't trust you at this point. We think that like you're the cursed one, so like we're out. They're with him until they aren't eventually, and there's like, well, we're hungry. We're fucking hungry.
Yeah,
I don't
literally.
know what to say.
Which honestly fair. Like if you're starving to death and your boy's like, guys, you don't want to eat those cows.
So that's the next stage is Apollo.
Well, there's been Calypso interspersed here.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Hey, Charlize.
I think this is the part of the movie that had the most room for improvement. To be honest, the Calypso stuff. The insane asexuality of it is just so awful.
They need to be
you don't think like that lotus flower, like we just can't know what that's a metaphor for is the problem.
Well, they needed the choice.
He's like, I can't stop eating this damn lotus flower.
The choice here was
as she's just like wearing like a big old like fishnet.
It was to make Damon,
but you can't see anything.
Sad. He just had to be really sad that he wasn't home with Penelope. That was the choice.
No, he doesn't even know that he's like, he knows that he's sad, but he doesn't know why.
Right. The whole point is to find out.
And this is also, I mean, it's another correct sort of internet take that Nolan is just too much of a wife guy to ever have his leading man truly cheat, even if he has been tricked into cheating.
Well, and that's
that is a bridge too far. And in a way, I think Nolan may have sort of reverse engineered. He just has always been this way, but he has almost predicted how prudish the Zoomers are now with their sexual stuff.
Maybe that's why he's speaking to the Zoomers so much.
Yeah, where like they would not forgive their protagonist for doing the same thing.
Nolan would hate I Want Your Sex.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
He would be horrified.
Christopher Nolan's I Want Your Sex.
Put Nolan in the invite.
I Want Your ankle high socks.
Nolan would be Seth Rogen. It's like, what are you doing?
Jesus Christ.
So
backwards.
it is just I think it's really silly, the little kid gloves that are on for
Well,
everything with Calypso.
Dude, the little kid gloves are on at least a little bit for everything. Like in the Odyssey, even with fucking Cersei, he stays on the island and fucks her for a year before he's like, all right, I guess I'll keep going.
Okay.
I'll go back to my fucking wife, I guess. Like,
it's just, even then, you could have it so he is eating the lotus and he's been tricked and forgotten about his wife, but like it's for her to be like a temptress who's not actually tempting him to do anything is like insane.
It's the power of Charlize is doing a lot there, and Charlize is looking great. Look, she looks really good. I don't know what to say.
I
Like,
think
she's
the
doing
movie-
something. I do think, Ernest, though, to your earlier point, I think that you might be right that maybe Nolan felt a little bullied by the one sex scene that he ever decided to put in a movie in Oppenheimer, and
Chickened out.
everybody like clowning on him for it.
I think the movie has a lot of sections that feel truncated. I think that's like the non-linear part of it, the sort of montage quality of this movie, how it's just kind of slicing you in and out of different time periods. The fact that you have all these big name actors and you're not really getting to spend that much time with them. Like Lupita Nyong'o, does she say like more than 3 words?
Hey, it was
in
enough
this
to
movie?
piss me off that she's in it.
And so, you know, there are these
Not my Helen of Troy.
there are these pieces that like just sing and fucking ring, right? Like obviously Odysseus, like Matt Damon is incredible, but someone like Charlize Theron is like, you want more out of that.
It
You
is-
I guess
naturally want
the
more out of it
alternative
than you
though
get.
is okay. So we just get like we get a replacement level actor to be there in the role.
No, I'm not saying.
No,
I'm not saying that.
no,
I'm
it-
just saying that like the experience of watching it, at least the first time, is like you're so drawn to all of these characters and subplots and like recognizable stars that you want more out of them. Even like the lesser names, like Benny Safdie does nothing in this movie.
No, absolutely nothing.
Zero. And like you wonder like what are some different choices?
Well,
that
that's the
could have
Iliad,
happened?
is the Agamemnon movie.
No, I know. Well, so that's, again, I think that speaks toward like some positive discipline on Nolan's part, where like it would be really easy to feel the need to give everything its time to breathe. Obviously, you can't. Like,
Yeah, you end up with something really uneven.
well, yeah, and
the
but
movie's focus.
yeah, and it is 3 hours
Yeah.
already. Like,
Yeah.
it can't be any longer, so that's not an option. And yet, I don't know. It's an interesting movie because you can, if you go piece by piece, and you're like, well, those segments are definitely not a 10 out of 10. That part is like, whatever. However, it's all in service of creating a larger,
Right,
perfect
right.
movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
You're headed to the Troy monologue.
It still has the Nolan classic stuff where the segments that are there to serve story are worse. And the Calypso piece, that's why I was kind of disappointed by that, is because that's the real purpose of everything with Calypso, is to just like, it's to move story forward, to explain where he's been, to,
the framing device.
yeah, and to give
Nolan
you-
loves the framing.
yeah, exactly. And as a result, it has a lot of the worst lines in the movie, like bad lines. It has the line where she's giving him the lotus and she's like, "You shouldn't eat the lotus." And he's like, "But I love it.
I love it."
That's a bad movie line.
I really love Damon's performance, the way they says that. He says it like he's in like a schlocky horror movie. And I really love it for that.
it's just a lot of like dumbed down stuff going on in all those scenes, dialogue wise.
Nolan has always been a really kind of bad writer.
No, exactly. And hey, you know
I
what's
think he overwrites. I wouldn't necessarily always say that he is a bad writer. I
No,
think that
it's
he's
just-
an overwriter. I think that sometimes his dialogue can become kind of kitschy. But like
he just needs it to, like, the purpose of it for him is to convey an idea that is tangible, like a story idea, like moving, like a mechanical idea, not so much an emotional idea, not so much reflecting how people actually speak.
yes.
And
Yeah.
the greatest of great writers can make that stuff, they can put it through the meat grinder of the way people actually talk, and he can't quite do that. And that's fine. That's, everyone has their weaknesses. It's a good thing Jonathan Nolan didn't have a pass at this.
Hold on.
He is the worst version.
I was
Yeah,
about to defend Jonathan Nolan though,
Well, okay.
because to me personally, like my favorite Nolan movies have the brother attached to the script because you get that sort of that offset of the stilted sort of overwritten dialogue gets offset with this like really overblown, like highly emotional stuff, right? Like that's why Interstellar is the best Nolan movie to me, because you get both of it. You get like
I think that Jonathan also though is bringing the other side. He's not just bringing like
that's what I was going to say too. Is I often find that a lot of Jonathan Nolan things are over.
Well, the thing is though, I like Nolan a lot when he is just like succumbing to his worst habits, and that's when Jonathan's involved with something like Inception, where it's like, let's just make it all explaining. I think that's really fucking fun.
No, Jonathan doesn't have writing credit on Inception. It's Interstellar, Dark Knight, Prestige, and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Those are the Jonathan.
That makes
Nolan
sense.
movies.
Yep. I mean, Interstellar's script-wise is relatively similar to Inception, where it's just like, we're going to explain fucking everything. We're going to fucking explain everything possible.
We did the science.
I think there's a place for that. Like, you can look at it and just be like, that's not the correct way to make a movie. And you're like, it's like, yeah, sure. No one is doing that except for this guy. And I think that's cool.
I would just say is that like I wouldn't say that to your point, Ernest, like I wouldn't say that I consider Nolan an emotional filmmaker. Like I don't get emotional whenever I watch his movies for the most part. This one I really did feel a lot, and not just the very end.
Yeah.
It's in some of the actual true like pen on paper screenwriting that he's doing. The next thing that we're getting is to the Siren song. And like that has the most, I think one of the most beautiful pieces of writing that Nolan's ever put in any film that he's written, where he's talking about, again, like the braggadocious, the proud Odysseus is like, tie me up. I want to hear the siren song. And it comes to haunt him. He says, then asks like, what is the siren song? They say, all the things you wanted to be, and then all the things you wished you never wished for. It was a delicious itch you want to scratch, but you find it under the skin and can't reach it. So the delicious itch becomes unbearable. It told you what you most want is what you most can't have, and that the most you can't have is what you already had and lost. It was a song of all the promises I failed to keep. Like, that's just
Great
fucking
stuff.
bars, man. Like, that's just like, he did it. Like, he really encapsulated what becomes the theme of the movie and the twist on the movie, which is you don't want to go home.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to go home?
That's also interesting. It almost makes sense that he nailed that as a writing assignment, because the requirement is to not put your finger on exactly what it sounded like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like
To not explain it directly.
and so it forces him to be poetic in a way that he usually isn't. Right. And I think there's a lot going on in the movie that feels like that, where it's like it forces an amount of diffraction that like he usually just does not care for. Or maybe he's just growing.
That's what I was going to say.
I think there's a good chance that he's just evolving as a
these
writer.
last three movies, Tenet, Oppenheimer, Odyssey, it feels like this leap forward for him, especially as a writer. Like these concepts, these ideas, like obviously Oppenheimer and Odyssey are like pre-established works to some extent, or adaptations. Tenet is an adaptation of future events that have yet to happen.
Yes. They will.
Yeah, we're headed there.
And they did.
Yeah.
And I think that in this sort of stride that he's hitting, it does feel like he's finding ways to shed a lot of the weight on his previous movies. And I will always hold those movies so dear.
I know that's the thing is
even with all like the shagginess, like they will always mean so much to me. But there's something happening where he is letting go of a lot of that stuff, and it's still somewhat here. Like there's still bits here that still are like kind of crappy Nolan a little bit, but that little monologue there, and then the big monologue at the end with the Troy stuff. It's like, man, the Nolan that was doing Prestige and Batman Begins and Dark Knight, like that's a different
Yeah.
caliber altogether. Like he has to approach this material at such a grand scale and meet it at this moment in order to kind of hit it out of the park with these lines.
I think again it speaks toward how analog he is as a human being and process wise, where like I don't know, it kind of makes sense that he is evolving at a pace that like you would expect from like an old school filmmaker. Like he strikes me as like a very sober person.
Yes.
I just feel
he has like a glass of red.
Yeah, so like
a couple times.
I don't think there's anything necessarily getting in his way from evolving as an artist.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
He's in his mid 50s right now. Like he theoretically has another 13 films still left in him. Hopefully,
that's
like
crazy.
if that's
He's
the thing,
56.
56. Okay, so like he probably has like at least, hopefully, if nothing else happens, another 30 years under him with the way that now we're seeing some of our favorite filmmakers make movies into their 80s now, 25, 30 years. That's great. I think that we're going to keep seeing him evolve and see this new version of him.
Yeah.
What I think that's interesting about this, and I don't know if you guys had kind of a similar thought since we're talking a little bit about the Nolan filmography in this discussion, is for me, this kind of felt like Chris Nolan's Fabelmans, in that it's recontextualizing like every other Nolan movie before it. That I'm like, he's always kind of been making this story that you can tell that this source material has been eating at him for forever. Like it's been widely talked about now, but that Nolan originally, like he had a dream that he really wanted to make the movie Troy back in like 2004.
Thank
and
God.
he just didn't have the clout then at that time. Have you seen Troy?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is it bad? Okay. Yeah.
I remember
it's Brad Pitt, yeah.
He gets shot in the ankle with a arrow. Then it's
Oh.
like, oh, that's that thing.
That's Achilles.
That's Achilles' heel. It's
That's his heel. Yeah. But like the whole idea of like this great man who has to do a great thing, but then the torture of that weighs on him for the rest of his life. That's in Nolan things. The man who just wants to like get home to his family. That's fucking Interstellar. Like it's all here. Like all of it is right here in this story that he's just been stewing on.
He makes movies about dudes who want to go home.
To that point, where do we go from here? Like what is next? I
More passion projects probably. Like we haven't brought up another big inflection point in his filmography, which I think was Dunkirk.
yeah.
Honestly,
one of my favorites.
Yes.
Personally, it's really far from my favorites because I think it almost veers too far into a lack of communication. I'll be honest, like I didn't understand what people were saying in that fucking movie because like you cannot hear them.
Yeah, they're like mumbling.
Yeah. It's a bit of an issue.
It has somehow worse sound design or like worse legibility into what the people are saying than Tenet, and that is saying something.
It's crazy.
Tenet, there was multiple points in watching Tenet, my most watch through, that I was like, "Oh, fuck was that?" I was rewind like 10 seconds, then try and play again.
Just, dude, it's just like Tenet. While rewinding the movie, it's just like Tenet. It is. So I would imagine, yeah, there are probably little historical things he's obsessed with that he'd love to make, much like Dunkirk. And then, but I don't know. He can kind of do whatever he wants. Speaking toward like the little writing flourishes that go crazy in this movie, his recontextualization of Sinon.
The Elliot Page character.
Yeah, played by Elliot Page, is just, it's another thing where like he did justice to the original character while completely changing his arc to be something totally new. Where he ends up being the one who meets Odysseus face to face in Hades, and it's a really affecting scene. The way
so well done, shot in Iceland.
It's shot on this like black beach in Iceland, and the way that the way that Elliot Page's face
covered in soot
is just incredible.
Yeah, this is like a volcanic ash.
Yeah, it's
sand,
phenomenal.
The beach.
And Sinon kind of ends up becoming like his performance guy is like the fulcrum of the movie in many ways, because that is like the piece of giving the totem. I want to call it a totem, like
Your
fucking
shame.
Inception, whatever the
he has to give
stick.
Antinous his shame, because I guess Antinous like skipped the draft
Yeah.
of the war.
He was drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got out of it because his parents.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting things happening here. This is also the scene where we get Benny Safdie sort of having his moment. Agamemnon
Could have told me that was anyone on Earth.
talking about like how he returned home as a hero, and that bit him in the ass because he had sacrificed his kid to Poseidon, and then his own wife murdered him in the bed. So he was like, hey, you're gonna have to return home as a beggar, assess, or else.
Real quick, want to just touch on Agamemnon and Benny Safdie, because this is another one that like kind of took me stewing on it and then rewatching it to appreciate more of not just the casting of Benny Safdie, but the portrayal of Agamemnon. I think in any like traditional historic literature, Agamemnon is viewed as like a demigod. Like he is this all powerful, like in huge black armor, hulking figure. And like the fact that you cast Benny Safdie in that role, who is kind of like at this point known a little bit for being like his sensitivity that he has. Like, yeah, he's like large, but he has kind of a softer spoken voice. Like it feels again more like a modern ideal of like you're gonna put on all of this big hulking armor and pretend like you're hot shit because you're overcompensating.
Yeah, that
and then
armor,
he just talks and he's
that armor is
Thanks for your help, Director Odie.
that armor is very like purposefully untarnished. Like it's like perfect.
Yeah,
he looks like he's in the movie Troy.
Yeah.
He
You know what I
opened
mean?
up the gates, but then he's not running into the
No,
battle.
he doesn't get touched.
He just stands there in
Yeah.
the back. Which, by the way, sick helmet. I don't care what people are like hating on about like, you know, that wasn't really authentic to the times.
The authentic helmets
Shut
look
up.
so stupid.
That's the worst criticism that you can ever have in any movie is like, I actually, as a historian,
If you do the
that type of metal
historically,
wouldn't be present there.
if you do the historically accurate helmets, this movie makes like half the money it's making.
If you're doing historical accuracy,
Those
then Matt
helmets,
Damon isn't
yeah.
yelling, let's go as they go into battle. Like, who cares? It's
Also,
fine.
I don't want to be that guy, but Cyclopses looked way different back then. than
right.
that.
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
The dongs
they were
were
actually like
massive.
they were actually like 3 feet tall.
I can't believe you're saying this. You've watched the movie twice. Let's Go is not running into battle. It's running away from the dead.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's let's go.
Yeah.
I think it was again speaking toward Nolan's growth. I think it was a really inspired choice to go American casual English in particular. This is a movie that is, you know, cast very globally. There are plenty of British people in this. You could have even gone British with a more sort of form, almost like iambic delivery, and you could have just made your actors do that, and they would have done it well, and we would have lost something 100%. Like
That's what they do on fucking House of the Dragon. I'm like, ugh.
He wanted this to be a modern movie, and I don't know. I think people are really overthinking. I mean, obviously, there's a sect of the internet that is just looking to find anything at all wrong with the movie for really, you know, ill intents. So we can ignore all that. But that choice in particular was super inspired to me.
I've heard some really awesome takes about this, about how and like why this choice links directly to the modernization of the sea people and the Trojan horse and all of these ideas. It's like the reason why people are speaking this way is because Nolan wants you to see the Greeks as American colonizers, as like modern, like MAGA Republican, like war, you know, not just Republican, but like conservative war freaks that like support genocide and like point at immigrants as being the other group that must be feared when they themselves are the ones enacting the horrors.
You know what's the most clear version of that? Because I actually do think that is a pretty significant piece of this interpretation of the story is very early on in the movie when they get to the first town after leaving the Cyclops, and Hamish Patel is like, what are you doing? Why are you burning stuff down? They're like, you are the sea people. Like you are the monsters that are here. But they're just there like chasing them around like, come back here. What is wrong with you? Like they just fucking like raped and pillaged Troy. Like they just like went and destroyed like one of the major. If you think about this as a small town that's like just right near Troy, that's like somebody just like going to Miami and ransacking it, and then just showing up to Orlando, where it's like, oh no,
but
cool,
Nolan choosing to withhold all of that, because that moment you're describing, that's way early in the movie. You don't have that context,
right? Yes,
that you get at the end of like what Troy actually means, and like we should just get into it, because I think that this is like the scene of the movie is, you know,
it's the scene of the year.
Well, yeah, when we see Odysseus's telling of what happened there. Yeah.
So we have Odysseus sort of coming back. There's all these little moments where, you know, he's with John Leguizamo, who can't see him. He's blind, and he's sort of like sneaking back in as a beggar. There's like a section of the movie here where, you know, he's in Ithaca, but he has yet to reveal himself. I don't remember if like the killing the guys in the church is all before this. Yeah.
No, he shows up there. He sees John Leguizamo, and he says to him that like your son has gone to has like gone off to this other island or something like that to pay respects to Athena. You need to hurry because he's in danger.
Yeah.
And then he goes over, he kills some people, but he's still disguised as a beggar until he comes home again.
The feeling that the movie sort of locks into here, this ramp up that happens when Odysseus is back in Ithaca in hiding as a beggar, it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling because we know, even if you don't know anything about the Odyssey, like, you know, some shit is about to
fuck shit up.
So the movie like makes you kind of sit in that tension, in that ramp up, and in that feeling, you get this moment that's just Damon and Anne Hathaway with this like screen door in between them. The way it's shot is so fucking cool. And he tells the story of like his time in the Trojan War. And
do you want to hear the poem of Odysseus? And he's like, I hate that story. It makes me sad.
Oof.
And they're like, why does it make you sad? And then he recounts everything.
Specifically the moment of that we saw earlier of the war beginning. The Trojan horse has done its thing. They have climbed out and opened the gates, and what does he say? 10 years of rage has spilled into the city. And the way it's shot, I cannot wait to see this movie again, because Nolan
you
is
literally are
popping.
You've chosen to wait.
I'm maxing. The way it's shot is like so fucking incredible, because any other filmmaker like would probably not have the resources to do what he does here. So they would cut away, right? Because it's like, oh, you can only show so much. No, keeps going. So much war, so much destruction. And it's all narrated by this really solemn tale of the pain that he's carrying and the realization of the breaking of Zeus's law, right? It's
the
like
eternal breaking of Zeus's law.
You know the horse. You've seen, everyone knows the Trojan horse. You've been seeing it over and over and over throughout this movie. You've been hearing about Zeus's law, about this idea of welcoming in beggars and poor people into your home, of giving them food and shelter, because hospitality is what the gods would want, because anyone might be a god, no matter how poor you might be. Anyone could be a god in hiding. And they disobey that law. They violate that law with the Trojan horse. And it culminates in them chopping off the head of the statue of Athena at the same time as Nolan cuts to Zendaya, presumably a random Trojan girl, also having her head cut off.
Yeah.
And Nolan, why don't you show Zendaya's head being cut off? It's an R-rated film.
Yeah.
We paid money.
Blood spitting out there.
Why aren't we seeing the head? Why are we only seeing the statue head? But all of these pieces, it just, the way it clicks together, it's like
That moment,
fucking incredible.
Well, I mean, even like leading up to that, like if you, again, keeping in the back of your mind the first telling of the sacking of Troy, that sequence is all like armored men fighting each other because that's the militaristic.
It's Bernthal being like, yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, Bernthal is like doing the.
Yeah, I was in Fallujah,
dude. Bernthal won't shut the fuck up about the horse because he was in the horse. He will not shut up about it. But like the flipping
Yeah, we
of that,
killed some kids.
I was there, man.
The moment when you see Damon, they're not fighting soldiers. They're not even like at the gates, like. They're in like the neighborhoods of Troy. They're like pulling women and children out into the street and just stabbing them. Like it is from the
it's
jump.
like the rape of Non-King or something.
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
because that's what it is.
It's exactly.
The whole movie. You're kind of thinking about it too. You're like, I don't know. At least I was like, it can't have been a noble thing, like what they did to Troy. We are not being. Because I trust that Nolan would explain to us if Troy deserved it. You know what I mean? And we're not being given that information. That
Especially if you go back a step, that the reason why the Trojan War even happened is because they Menelaus kidnapped Helen of Troy. And that's what caused the war to start. So
yeah, and she like fucking hates him and shit. Well,
yeah, well, you know.
So yeah, the Zendaya moment is like. It's a really rare goosebumpy moment in modern movies to me where it's like I don't know how I didn't see that you pulled this off.
It's a magic trick.
You just assume you're seeing Athena
and
the
you
whole
just,
movie.
You just fucking gasp when you realize.
And yet it's so clearly visually conveyed that the second it happens, you're like, oh, got it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then down
He's
goes
been
the
seeing
statue
this
head.
Dead girl this whole time.
Cut to the thing and she's gone. Just like that. It was like this ghost that he is now attributed to Athena, because Athena isn't just like everything that Athena represents as a god. She also is the pin that he's carrying around with him. His reminder of home and like the last strand of humanity that he has. And he lost that humanity. Yeah. Even though he's carrying around this Athena of like the god of war and everything else like that. Like it's gone. That old Odysseus that left 20 years ago is dead.
Mm-hmm. So it's banger stuff. It's really like recounting the movie like this. It really brings to light just how much shit happens. There's so much plot.
We skipped past the whole thing with just like the basically the mercenaries that are going in there to kill Telemachus, and that sequence, which is
skip that. Huh?
That scene is really fucking cool. I'm telling you guys, because you're just like, oh, give me back. I want him to like fucking kill Robert Pattinson. That scene is really, really cool.
No, I think it is. We haven't even talked about the inbred looking guy who I don't know who he is.
Yeah, that homie.
He's a guy. He's one of those bad guys. Most
importantly, whenever the reveal where Telemachus realizes that Odysseus is the beggar.
Yeah, when the dog
appearing there. Dude, that fucking worked, man.
That's the best Tom Holland.
I'm crying, man. Like that is the point where it's like, oh no, Tom Holland has something here. He wasn't just.
But he had to get a scene with Damon.
Tom Holland
that's when it acted.
He is a dead dog merchant in terms of drawing emotion out of the audience.
Well,
he's a fake demon.
When I saw
good stats, bad
when
team.
I saw Argus' tail lift up, I was a fucking
again.
wreck,
I mean,
man.
I attribute that all to Nolan. Like that's just killer.
Yeah,
that's killer.
That's just great.
I mean, this whole last bit it's the two plot lines converging perfectly, because whatever problems you have throughout the movie of like all the Menelaus what are these people's
Telemachus is Tom Holland. Menelaus is John Barenthal.
And Antinous
and
Penelope. All of this like castle intrigue stuff. It's like it's kind of dark and musty.
It's
and
a little
weird.
redundant.
It's like,
it's just a little redundant.
I think I'm telling you guys, it works better on rewatch. I'm just telling you right now that all of that stuff like works really, really well.
I still think it works great watching the movie. Like I love the movie. I think it's like nearly a perfect movie.
I know, but I'm just saying the feeling of like having the comparison of those scenes not being as grand and exciting as the Odysseus stuff. In this final chunk, when it all comes together, it all pays off.
Yeah.
All of that time spent in the castle with this conflict of the suitors, you're there. You're fully there in the end because Odysseus is there to fuck shit up.
Yeah. So
this final scene of him doing the test with the bow and the arrow through the axes, and then going fucking John Wick crazy on all these
Penelope
fuckers.
being like, oh,
That's so
fuck.
cool.
Oh,
We
shit.
didn't even
It's
mention
him.
when we were talking about the whenever we were talking about the score, we didn't even mention like the bow sequence itself, the plucking of the bow. That as like a sound bite is like that's not like that's like gonna be like a movie history
Iconic.
thing of
Yeah.
just instantly iconic.
Yeah, it owns the final sequence, you know, in the dark room of him just taking on 50 dudes one-on-one. There's not necessarily like a great way to take that on as a filmmaker, to be honest, because it's just a ridiculous thing to happen. Like it's not possible. And so it's hard to shoot as if it were a real thing.
It's just very conventional action movie.
That's what I was going to say is
it
like,
works.
well, there's a lot of this exact type of scene in The Dark Knight Rises. And I think it's some of the weaker stuff in The Dark Knight Rises where it looks like a giant group of stunt people fighting each other. And it's like pretty silly when if you really just look off
like,
to the side of the
pause,
frame and just like look at two random guys, you're like, this is insane. This is so dumb. But there's something almost, quaint about it because it's like the old
simplicity.
It's like this 100-year-old soda shop makes like, you know, action slop the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, you know, as opposed to just making it all like fake.
Well,
I guess it also does work in like the from like a narrative perspective because they do establish like you're not gonna have to fight every single suitor. Like there are going to be some that try and run at you and then others will believe. And if they don't believe you yet, then they will like once they like see your power. And like throughout that entire sequence, you just see people like get on a knee. Like, they just go down there like,
I'm done, dude.
again, like fucking God just
Honestly,
show up, dude. Like fucking.
That would totally be me.
I'm like,
I'm
once he
spending
killed
the whole
guy
time,
number 3, I'm
Yeah.
like, shit.
I'm spending all of those years eating dinner there, and then the second it's time to like, you know, to put acid grass, I'm done. Like I'm
Here's the thing.
The food wasn't even that good.
If you like think about like, of course, like Bobby Patty, he's got a shot. Like there's some good looking dudes there trying. A couple of those guys, they're like, I think that I could thread the bow. And it's like, homie, get the fuck out of here. Don't
None of
even
them
try.
could
What are
even-
you doing?
Could even thread it.
Yeah, they can't even put the bow on. Much less shoot through like the 10 axes.
Yeah. And he just does it like first try.
Like it's
no
nothing.
problem.
I mean, fuck,
Fucking
Pattinson's
sick.
like, this is a joke. I'm not even gonna fucking try.
Yeah.
Him being like, more.
Yeah.
Get the spears, get the shield.
It's like 5 minutes of that.
Yeah.
It's really
Should have been
cool.
like, get the AK-47. Guy comes out just like, wait, what?
It's
But
great.
the whole time, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know that the good guys are going to win. You know that Tom Holland's not going to get stabbed by the guy from fucking.
Is that that's not Logan Marshall
Shogun.
Green. Who's there? Oh,
Oh,
no, it's John.
It's the guy who looks exactly like the guy from Shogun.
Yes.
They all look the same. You're
White guys all look the
You're
same.
so invested. You're so locked in, and you know we made the point earlier about how like this movie like generalizes its language and its storytelling to be for the masses. This scene, there is a elemental simplicity to it when it's like, I want to see good guy stab bad guy. I'm simple. I clap when bad guy gets stabbed. And the movie's just like, it's just cashing in all those chips.
It is.
It's just like payoff. Like in the theater, in the screening, when Corey Hawkins and Robert Pattinson both bite it, people burst into cheers. Like
Yeah.
they were so
100%.
Both
excited.
times I have seen this, when the "You're Odysseus" like through the throat happens, everybody in my theater just starts
No.
laughing. Like that just works.
Like that's the thing. At the end of the day, like it serves its purpose. It's just the same way you had issue with the Samantha Morton scene. This is something that Nolan has done in multiple films where like it just don't look at it too hard,
Yeah.
because if you do, you're gonna see stunt performers that like their job is not to be focused on, and if you focus on them, you're like, this looks stupid. So you have to just not.
And a lot of the shots in this scene are shot wide. So they can do it with these cameras. Like you can go a little wider. So it does sort of throw my point out a little bit from earlier of like, is the camera locking you into that frame?
No,
I think
it's a
I think that's
choice
I think
yeah.
it's either or maybe both a choice and also an effect issue.
Yeah.
An issue of the effect.
Yeah,
It makes
no,
the
absolutely.
it makes the effect look better. But ultimately, like the purpose is served. Like that scene gives you what you want that scene to give you, which is just like Odysseus, like old school fucking up a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that scene could have been in any of the last like 7 decades of film.
Yeah.
You know, and it would make
works.
Yeah, like it doesn't use anything new. It's yeah, so it works.
And it is this old fashioned thing of you just want to walk out of the theater feeling like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That was sick.
And he did it.
You know,
And
you don't want whatever like morose, artsy, like think piece feeling. You want
they're chasing they're sailing out after the setting sun or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, so that's the
escaping
thing is,
sun.
It gives you an amount of, you know, his recontextualization, which is a little more thoughtful and a little more artsy of like.
Then you get the action scene.
He's got where it's at the very, very end though, where he's just like, we got to leave here. It's not as though he is completely triumphed and he's just like totally happy. Like
he's technically banished.
Yeah, like
because he murdered all of those people in his house.
So that's not so great. He probably should head out.
He's like,
people might want revenge for that.
His chud son gets to be the king or whatever.
Terrible look.
He killed one guy, and they're like, "I guess you deserve to be king."
Telemachus' little king outfit, it sucks.
You don't buy his little
dude,
crown
come
hat.
on. That looks like shit. They ran out of money.
He's
that
a
point.
loser king.
Yeah.
That's why I think that it's like Odysseus says, which again, one of the worst lines in the movie is toward the end where he's like, "This age of bronze is ending."
Terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
That's like saying like World War I is ending when there's not even a World War II yet.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you know?
You're
Like,
just
you
calling
could have
it
that.
the
We
age
didn't
of
know it was
bronze.
called that.
You could have that same scene and just like not have him say anything, just like sail off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you
look,
don't have to say anything.
There's sometimes, I think was the last line of the movie is like, "We are doomed to repeat the mistakes of our past." Where there's like, we want to really spell out the thesis of this movie, just in case you guys haven't gotten it clear for like the Trojan horse wasn't necessarily a good thing. We just want to like have one more time as you're like picking up your popcorn bucket and leaving the theater.
Yeah,
Before James Blake and Travis Scott start singing.
which again, you know, it's a Nolan thing. Like, and some people do need that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So-
I don't mind that.
So you
as
take
much.
it, but
I can
it
look past it.
so you get, but what I'm saying is that like you kind of do get your cake and eat it too, because there is an amount of not full satisfaction on Odysseus's part when the movie ends, but he ostensibly still does get what you want him to get.
Yeah.
He gets back to Penelope, and that's all you want.
Did you know there's a sequel to the Odyssey? Like there's another book that like happens about
the
their story.
Aeneid. What is it called?
The Aeneid.
Aeneid.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
but it's like the Dune sequels where it gets really trippy.
Yeah, it's really weird. They actually go back to Calypso, and then Penelope gets up in that shit.
Homer did way too much like stepped on acid in the 70s, and he started just writing some nonsense.
Well, it's Homer's son that took over the writing of the books, and it's
Is Homer gonna do like his Comic-Con PowerPoint where he has like the timeline of like the Iliad cinematic universe?
Just wait until they're gonna be at Comic-Con, and then they're gonna be like sitting down, and like somebody's gonna take off a mask, and it's gonna be like Antinous. It's gonna be like Antinous will return.
Sorry, they're gonna kill me for this. The Aeneid is a Virgil poem, not a Homer
You
poem.
can't say that. Is Virgil another just collection of guys?
Bro, that's like saying Travis Scott made 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Why did J. Cole pull? Why is that
He came on.
the artist that you pull
So
from?
I'll tell you why, because Apple Music's algorithm is really bad, and so he's been coming on.
Travis
recently.
Scott and J. Cole, those aren't two that I would necessarily pair together.
I wouldn't
Especially
either.
not 2014 Forest Hill Drive.
I'm about to go back to
J. Cole.
Spotify. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
I'm giving up. I'm sorry, artists. You don't deserve to be paid.
You guys think that maybe you don't need a recommendation algorithm? Maybe you can just like find music on your own.
Yeah, but you can't even find it on there.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The
interface
interface is the
so
worst.
ugly and bad. I really feel it when I'm.
I think you mean clean.
I really feel
and
it when I'm in my
minimalistic.
car because like that's when you're at your most like, okay, I'm at a red light. I have like 10 seconds here, and I'm hitting buttons on that app. I'm like, no fucking way. This is what they're giving me.
Try using it in fucking CarPlay, because that's a disaster. If I'm just like, okay, cool, I just want to like click on Apple Music button. It's like, got it. Here's only top 40 stations. Here's
It's
only
crazy.
pop new releases. Is this what you want to do? I'm like, what the fuck is this? Have I ever clicked on these stations in my life? No, get this out of here.
Spotify has that too.
I never encountered that problem on Spotify on my homepage in my life.
Nolan rankings.
We should get on Groove Shark.
Last FM.
I'm on Pandora.
I just like gut check. Where is this for you guys?
I have it at
rankings.
5.
I think it's his best movie, but it's definitely not my number one. It's in my top 5 though, 100%.
It's my number 3 right now.
Yeah.
I think definitively it's better than Following. It's better than Insomnia. It's better than Dark Knight Rises.
It's better than Batman Begins.
It's better than Tenet. It's better than Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is overrated.
Here's where it might become a question for you guys. I think it's better than Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's better than Inception.
This
is where we're in a different tier.
Well,
here.
it's better than Inception, but I just saw Inception.
I like it more.
I saw Inception when I was like 14, and it changed my
Inception.
life.
Inception's still really good. I saw it literally last week. It's a good movie.
It's fucking awesome. I'll always love that the most, even though it's not the best. I'll always love it the most. I can't change that.
This is when I'm getting into kind of a little bit of the same tier. I have next Dunkirk, then Interstellar at 5, Dark Knight. I know you guys would all have fucking this over Memento, but Memento fucking rules. And I think Memento is like a perfect script for what it is. And then The Prestige is the best Nolan movie. And I won't take any other arguments. Ernest, you're a Prestige head. What happened? You were like on Prestige Island, and then
I remember rewatching it, and I was like, Scarlett Johansson's kind of underwritten. The twist doesn't hit.
A woman's underwritten in a Nolan movie?
Weird
Good thing that's the only time that happens.
I think the Anne Hathaway character in Interstellar is like one of the best female characters he's ever done.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one works really well.
I agree with that. I love Interstellar. Interstellar is the movie that is the Nolan movie that I feel the most during. And then
That's
I
my
think
favorite.
second is probably Inception.
This is crazy because
Inception, the emotionality in that movie, it really works, man.
I totally agree. Inception's will always be my number 1 just because of like how it hit me when I saw it. And I've seen it a billion times since then. And I still think it is a great movie.
It also has
The
Leonardo
ending-
DiCaprio.
Well, no,
in it,
the entire
which
the
no
ending-
one other of these movies do.
It's got the whole crew is just like like front to back. I couldn't assemble a better crew than like Leo, fucking Tom Hardy, prime JGL.
Oh,
Elliot
JGL
Page.
is so good.
Prime JGL.
Yeah.
Pre-hit record Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to
It's-
dead name JGL, by the way. He's hit record Joe now. I'm sorry, hit record Joe. I'm really excited to hear how you're utilizing AI in all your future ventures or whatever the fuck I'm sure you're working on.
he's so unemployed. I mean, the Odyssey is, I think, his best made movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's his overall best because
it is one of the best.
I think that there's a chance that this will end up being my number 1 Nolan.
Well,
with like
that's the
as
thing,
time comes.
because I think it packs a punch in a way that The Dark Knight does, where like for audiences, it gives you those like take your breath away, stunning, scary, action-packed sequences. Like that not all of his movies, deliver. Not that they're all trying to necessarily, but like it has a lot in common with that movie. And that movie has like you may or may not be into just general Batman stuff, and B, that movie has fat to trim. That the Odyssey doesn't really have.
Yeah.
So
Heath Ledger gives the best performance in any.
yeah, in my personal rankings, Dark Knight is again, it's above it. There's not a better age to see The Dark Knight than 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only live my lived experience.
So I've rewatched every Nolan movie in the last year or so, with the exception of the Dark Knight movies. I have not rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy because I'm waiting to watch all those with Gaia. Because Gaia's never seen a Dark Knight movie. She has like missed those. So I'm curious to know what it's like discovering it in your late 20s as a woman. If they hit quite the same.
I'm sure not. Well, in particular, I think you would just see it as a very uneven trilogy because I think it is. I think Batman.
I really like
Begins-
Batman Begins.
I know, but I think
But it's been a long time since I just remember the Scarecrow like being really effective.
I know, but
Unfortunately, he's not the main villain of that movie. So.
that's a big issue. Also, just rewatch it now because again, it much like the Raimi Spider-Mans, it was setting the framework for something really. It was changing shit. But as just its own product, if you watch it now, you're like, this isn't that fucking good.
Are you here for the Dark Knight Rises reclaiming of Dark Knight Rises is actually a masterpiece?
No,
we didn't understand.
We we saw that in theaters when it hit, and
we did.
I couldn't have
saw
been,
it,
and I could not have been more excited for a movie. And it's not that great. It's good.
What break first?
It's the first movie it's the first Nolan movie that I think truly you struggle to hear what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah.
With just Bane mostly. Like I had no clue what he was saying.
I mean, that was like a whole thing at the time. It was like Nolan had to fix the sound like in real time and then issue a new file to theaters.
That movie just felt like he bit off more than he could chew with that story, and he realized it like toward the end.
I mean, Nolan already had the mantle before this. I think that the heat check that he is on is unlike anything. Man. Like this is 90s Spielberg right here. Like that is the closest comp that we have.
I mean, it could end up being bigger. Like if he wins the Oscar again for this, like no one has done that.
I mean, so okay. Since you brought up the Oscars, let me pull up a list of the categories here because I think that there is a very solid chance that this movie will set the record for the most.
I know. You know who I just found actually dead in a ditch is Denis Villeneuve.
For Dune,
dude,
for a movie that hasn't even come out yet and is somehow buried already.
No,
I'm probably gonna like it more than this.
Well, here's the thing: is that like I thought that like Project Hail Mary was already kind of a lock for a Best Picture nomination. This is absolutely getting in there. Are they also going to have Dune in there? Like I don't know. Like Dune will it'll get nominated for Best Picture, but like suddenly all of the other categories, like the best sound and best VFX and all these kind of things, it's like, oh, I don't know if there's such a shoe in for Dune anymore. Unfortunately, also I do feel bad for Grandpa. I think Disclosure Day is dead.
Oh,
Disclosure Day is
dead.
It's never been more dead.
Disclosure Day
and I'm
is
so
now
sorry, Grandpa. You got to go back to the nursing home now.
The Steven, what's his name? The guy from Lady Bird. The meme that's like they just didn't get it.
They just didn't get it.
That's Disclosure Day now. That's gonna be Disclosure.
We're in trouble. My fantasy film league draft is just like in the shitter right now.
It's unfortunately good.
Moana.
Fortunately for me, I've never been so back.
Hunter spent all his money on the Odyssey, and like at the time we were all like, yeah, that's probably the right move, and it was.
And look, you know what? Sometimes you got the number one pick, you just gotta take the number one pick.
No, I don't think a single filmmaker has gone back-to-back films Best Picture wins. Maybe David Lean.
No. David Lean is the only person to actually, because the record is a couple people have done back-to-back Best Picture wins or back-to-back Best Director wins.
Yeah,
nobody else except for David Lean has done both. Where David Lean won for Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia back-to-back for those two. So this is basically unprecedented what Nolan is about to do. And I think that we'll see what happens if there's some like maybe La Bola Negra or some other. I think it's going to have to be a super indie is going to be. I think it's going to be the counterplay. I don't think that you're playing in the same.
The Invite?
Wild Horse 9? I don't know. Oh, yeah.
We're by Olivia Wilde.
Wild Horse 9 trailer looks so fun.
It looks like. I think it's going to be Digger. I think Digger's going to do it.
I heard Digger's making a bill.
Dude, here's the thing.
Shout out Colin in the Discord. He says that every day.
Watch the Odyssey and then watch the Digger trailer and say, why does it look like that? Why the fuck does that look so goddamn ugly?
Because it's going to make a bill.
Digger will return in the Odyssey too.
I want to make t-shirts that say, I heard Digger's going to make a bill.
Yeah. Can we make this shirt to give the call?
Man, I really wanted to make I watch Mank on 1.25 t-shirts. Those would rock.
We have to just make WBAM themed shirts for specific
I watched
moments.
Mank on 1.25 times speed, and as a result, I had the time to make this t-shirt.
Yeah. Can you get a shirt that says, with my third overall pick, I'm going to be taking Roosevelt?
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Roosevelt by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
That's gonna be so good when it comes out. What if that comes out?
What if that's the new Nolan movie? What if Nolan's like next?
Yeah, sorry.
It's like his. It's like
Marty,
It's like,
I'm taking the IP.
it's like AI all over again when Marty dies.
Yeah.
He dies in the middle of Roosevelt.
And
Nolan finishes it.
it's just the end of Oppenheimer, but it's like him making the national park program.
Okay, one final thought that I thought was very interesting. That it was. This is a take that came. I wish I could credit them, but it's from someone who doesn't like Nolan, and they had a really interesting and fun point about how Nolan will never be the filmmaker that Scorsese is because you compare their great man movies, and the difference is that Nolan truly thinks that they're great men.
Oh.
That's true.
And if you look at something like The Aviator,
Yeah.
Scorsese is willing to break them down to
Yeah.
their most like base molecular level and see that they're broken.
Yeah.
You know, and
Jesus.
We
was he a
get
great
close
man?
in this that he is a broken man, but he's still a great man.
Yeah, same.
He still has the great
and same
man
with
moment.
Oppenheimer. Like it's just
Mhm.
like the whole time you're watching, you're like, yeah, but he means well.
Honestly, I think that's a great piece of criticism. But I also think to that point, Nolan's movies make $1 billion, and Martin Scorsese, every other movie he makes is a financial failure.
No, exactly.
So,
Like,
despite the fact that he's the most
well,
acclaimed or
yeah,
second most acclaimed actor,
it's
of
just yet
generation.
another. It's just like his sort of overwriting tick, where it's just like he wants us to stay on board. Like he wants this to be for everyone, and for it to be for everyone, it has to star a character that everyone can understand. And you know, a movie like The Aviator wasn't perfectly received for that exact reason, because you're like, Jesus fucking
Yeah.
just pissing in jars.
Yeah.
My God.
Quarantine.
So I don't know. It's an interesting thought because I think ultimately at the end of the day, it is a weakness in terms of pure quality, but not in terms of goals.
Hey.
I think that Nolan accomplishes with each film exactly what he wants to. And so I think he deserves all the credit in the world for that.
Hey, you know who's not a great man? Hugh Jackman or Christian Bale in The Prestige.
Yeah.
They're both deeply flawed men.
They're in love with each other.
They are, dude. It's the
kiss.
gayest. Honestly, that is the most sexually charged movie
Yeah.
that Nolan has ever made. Is
A lot of
Prestige.
repression.
Yeah.
there.
The best female part he's ever written is Christian Bale in that movie.
Now you're looking for the secret.
But you don't really want to figure it out.
Because you're not really looking.
You want to be fooled.
Five.
All right.
I'm seeing 5 stars. I'm looking.
Yeah, it's a 5-star movie. It's a perfect movie, man. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Go home, audience. Go home and watch The Prestige.
I think.
Best.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love sleight of hand magic. Okay, I like to think that we live in a world of wonder. Oh, I'm sorry.
But what did you
Ernest
gi-
is turning
what
on
did
my
you give-
microphone because I'm yelling about.
What did you
magic.
give Now You See Me?
You've seen Now You
No,
See.
I have not seen How You See Me.
What to say?
He started reaching for his computer. I was gonna be shocked.
I'm like, oh, also 5 stars. What if that was just a thing about me? Of like any there's any movie with like a hint of magic. I'm like, well, shit, this is my rule. It's 5 stars.
Yeah.
When Tom Cruise does sleight of hand magic in Dead Reckoning Part 1,
stars.
I'm like, yeah, it's 5
Hey.
stars. I don't know what to say.
Shout out to the opening title of this movie, A Time of Apparent Magic.
And you know what? Let's
What a
pull up the Odyssey
sick-
here,
What a sick way of.
and let's just
opening
see
the
what
movie.
we have to.
See,
the
Hunter saw the
Odyssey
word
right now.
apparent, and he was like, and then there, he saw
I was at
was
4 and
magic.
it was at 4.5, and I was like on rewatch, and I was like, that is magic. 5 stars, baby.
All right.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Please rate and review and subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts on the Odyssey. WeBoughtAMic.net, patreon.com/WeBoughtAMic, $5 a month. Thank you to everyone for supporting this podcast. Next week, it's Malcolm X. Are we going to do another episode? We just did a 3-hour recording.
I don't know if I have another. Can we?
We were planning on recording a Widow's Bay invite drama chat.
That's
but
going to be another 3 hours.
we just did a Fat Odyssey episode, so we're not going to do that. But
that'll come.
I still
That'll
think
come.
we should talk about those because I love Widow's Bay. It's my favorite show of the year.
It's incredible show. Absolutely a masterful show.
And The Invite, one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah.
Yep. Top 5.
Sick.
And the drama The drama's great.
Now the drama. Now we're fucking talking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we'll have to talk about it, and we'll be talking about the Odyssey all year because it's going all the way.
Yeah.
It's going to be around.
What if it's like the Odyssey, no noms?
Yeah.
We're like, it gets
We're good.
blanked. Yeah. Like,
Came and
enough
went.
of that.
La Bola Negra just ate its lunch.
Yeah. We got Spider-Man now. I don't need fucking the Odyssey no more.
Yeah. The Spider-See.
I don't know what that accent was that I just did.
That sounds like Spider-Man's pussy.
The Spider-See.
Goodbye.
Bye.